skills to cut it as a pro gamer, but it
what's
didn't
up,
prevent me
guys?
from trying on every popular game to go pro. And Fortnite was no
So,
exception. Okay, this guy definitely thought he was
this is
gonna
gonna
be
be.
the next ninja. He was
Why
a
am I so
streamer.
brain
He
dead
was
right
doing
now?
what he could,
Okay, I
and
need
I
to
had to
focus.
support
So
it.
this is gonna be
That's
more of
something you
a
support your
grinding
friends.
episode. I'm
And
not
at the
gonna
time, he
talk
lived with his
much.
now ex-girlfriend, and
I'm
they
just gonna
basically
really
both worked a job. They were
grind
paying
for
rent, and they were getting
metal,
by. It
cement and
wasn't
paste,
easy
stuff
to
like
get by.
that.
Like, definitely
You
not
know.
to the point where this guy could do what he did. But we'll get there. We'll get
First thing
there.
I'm
This
gonna
guy
do
was
here is I was
spending 8 to
crafting
12
some
hours a
polymer,
day playing
so I'll
Fortnite, you know? And when
finish
you're
crafting
working
that
a
up.
job that's barely getting you by, and then you're ignoring your girlfriend
And then
for 12 hours of the day because you're
I'll
too busy playing video
3,000
games.
metal. That
Puts a strain
is
on the
hefty. I
relationship,
like
right?
that.
Not gonna lie, the girlfriend had pretty good reasons to be mad, because I think if I lived with my girlfriend and she was playing
Okay,
Fortnite
3,000
for 12
metal.
hours a day, not
I
talking to
can
me,
definitely
mad at
do
me every time
something
I
with
open the
that.
door, I would definitely be a little angry too. And just
I'm
to
gonna
clarify,
start trying to
Kai
make
and I,
like
are
20,
not
30
friends
industrial
anymore, but, you
furnaces.
know, it's a funny story, so I figured
I know that's super
like I
overkill
said,
for where
this
I'm
guy was
at in the
playing
series
Fortnite
right
8 to
now,
12 hours a
but
day on
whenever I
stream,
get really,
convincing
or
everyone
you
he's
know,
gonna be the
once
next
I grow
ninja,
and
spending
want
an
to
absurd
build
amount of money on V-Bucks,
giant
and like I said,
structures
they were
made of
barely
metal,
getting by as it is.
it's
So
gonna help me
definitely not
quite a
enough to be
bit.
dropping $500 on
So that
V-Bucks.
polymer I'm gonna need
And
is
this is right
crafting
around the
up
time
right
that the Samsung
now.
Galaxy S9 was gonna come out, which had this like
I might be a little
super
short,
rare
but that
Fortnite
oil I'm
skin, the
gonna
Galaxy
dump.
skin, and I don't know why,
I
but
think
this
I
guy
actually
was
got some
convinced
oil in
that
my
if he got the
inventory.
Galaxy skin, he was going to become a big streamer. Like, hands down,
I
his
should.
girlfriend couldn't be mad at him if he went out and spent $1,000 on a phone, because it was gonna make him huge on Twitch, and then he was gonna pay for everything.
Where did all my oil go?
At the time, because they were living together. Probably not the best idea in retrospect once I get to the head of the story, but they had a joint bank account where they shared all their money. And the last thing you want to do is share a bank account with the next
That's
year
a little
Fortnite
weird.
edition. That's just the rules. So he's every day we're talking, being like, "Oh, I'm just gonna buy it."
Oh, that's why I'm gonna be grinding. I'm gonna be getting a bunch of metal. I'm gonna actually write this down real quick. So, note. I want around 100,000 met or oil. I mean, 100,000 oil. It's nice, but oil. There we go. And then I'm gonna want steel in gold. I think 100,000 metal is good too. Metal. I'm dumb. Metal. Oh. And then what else am I gonna need? Okay, some crystal. Nah, I'm good on crystal. Obsidian. Right, yeah, right there. Obsidian. So I'm thinking I at least want to get 50k obsidian. I think I'm actually autistic. Obsidian. There we go, okay. And then also I'm gonna need to get the stone dino. Okay. So I got stone dino too. And I guess I could do with some more narc berries. I don't know, like what do you got so far? Like 2,000 freezes get, so I don't know, like 50k. 3 Narco. Narco. Narco berries. Okay, 50,000 narco berries. You can never do wrong with a lot of narco berries. And what else am I gonna need? Some keratin, some chitin. That is definitely a need. Whoever's watching the live stream right now, I am writing down a list on everything that I need to grind. You know, because it's gonna be a while. So, I at least want to get like 50k. I want to get quite a bit. Nah, scratch that. 100k. 100,000 keratin or chitin. Then keratin. There we go. 10 or how do you spell? I think I'm actually autistic. Great. Yep, this is great. Now I'm just gonna KTAN. Okay, that's gonna take me like a few hours to get, just that alone. Then what else am I gonna need? Gas? No, I'm good on gas. I'm good on hide. I don't know, maybe wood with that. I don't know. I'll get like iron, irons with wood. Okay. Electronics, silk pearls, polymer. See if I can craft that industrial boy now. Nope. I need the oil. I just seen oil. Oh, I know where all my oil is. It's in here. I'm actually dumb. I only have 4 oil. That's great. Fun stuff right there if I had. Okay, so I did oil. What else am I gonna need? Cementing paste, yeah. I'm gonna get all the chitin and chitin. So that will be for the cementing paste and gunpowder. I wanna get, I don't know, like 20,000 gunpowder. Why is my controller doing that? There we go. So, was it need to make gunpowder again? Cause I'm dumb. Oh yeah. So I'm just gonna do a lot of gunpowder. Slash get bullets. Okay, and alright. Well, let's see, I think I'm gonna need to get. Let me look at what it needs to do the thing with the thing. Crystal. I could do with some more crystal. I don't know, like 50k crystal. I don't need much. Yeah, scratch it. Let's get 100,000 crystal. Okay, and then metal. I said to get metal, but yeah. Okay, metal's good. Chainsaw. Let's see how fast it really is. Takes a long time to craft. That's for sure. There we go. Throw it in the inventory. And, try this pepper out. No ammo. Okay, how do I fill it with ammo? I'm guessing gasoline. Cause they ain't gonna take bullets. Oh, it's highlighted. Boom. Are you filled? Okay. Let's go try you out, Mr. Chainsaw. Let's see if you give me lots of wood. Yes, you do. Okay. Me like you now. This is my hella strong boy. I'm gonna go. Okay, he's looking good. You follow me. You go in my pod of gloriness. Go in. There you go. And I'll go ahead and take this. And you, I'm gonna throw you in pod. Whoa. Okay, so that should be everything that I'm gonna need. Crystal. Alright, well, let's just start at the top. A lot of oil. This is definitely gonna take me a while.
She really just can't be mad
I'm gonna
at me.
need some scrubs.
And I'm like, listen, man, probably shouldn't take $1,000 from your bank account without asking her or telling her first. It just seems like a bad idea. And he's like, nah, man, like, she really won't be mad. My channel's gonna take off. I don't know why he thought a Fortnite cosmetic skin was gonna really make his channel take off, but he was sold on the idea. And every time I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I really don't think it's a good idea. I think you should talk to her. I wouldn't just do it. You're gonna make her mad. You're gonna ruin everything. And he's just, no, man. You don't know. She's super supportive. Like, she'd let me. So one day I get online and log into Fortnite, and he joins in the lobby, and he's got a Galaxy skin. I'm like, oh, is that your girlfriend? And he's like, no, I just bought it. And I'm like, you what? Like, yep, I just went out and bought it. And I haven't told her yet. And I'm like, well, that was a really bad idea, dude. I don't know about you, but if I was in a relationship and my girlfriend just went out and took $1,000 without talking to me about it or anything, I would be pretty pissed. Like, sure, it's a joint bank account, it's both your guys' money, but it's still important to communicate with your girlfriend what you're doing, when you're gonna do it. So I'm basically just waiting for this ticking time bomb to go off, and here's a girlfriend coming out, and he's like, oh, She walks into
Nope.
his room before he can
I'm
even say
dumb.
anything. She goes, "What did you spend $1,000 on?" And he's like, and just doesn't have an answer. He's just speechless. And then she goes, "Did you buy that stupid phone?" And he's like, "Well, it's not stupid. It's good." And she's like, "Really? Really, dude? You took $1,000 from our bank account to buy a phone?" She's like, "Whoa, it's really gonna help my stream." She's like, "No. Here's the problem. You have to be entertaining to be a good streamer, and you're not." And I'm like, "Damn, that one hurt me deep. Okay, I'm not even the streamer in the situation, and my feelings are hurt." But she starts laying into him about how he's so irresponsible and dumb, and all he ever does is play this stupid game. And she's like, "You know what? I'm done." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I can't date a 12-year-old anymore. You're 12 years old. You're spending all of our money on Fortnite skins. You bought a phone without my permission from our joint bank account, and I'm done. I'm done. Get out." And he's like, "No, let's be rational about this." She's like, "No, I'm done. Get out." And so he comes back to Discord and goes, "Yo, I gotta go, bro," and leaves the call. And, yeah, he really got dumped over a Fortnite skin. I wouldn't really call it over a Fortnite skin. I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Moral of the story, don't take money from your girlfriend. Don't ignore her for 12 hours a day. And if you are going to buy a phone, at least talk to the person whose money you're going to take half of to do it with. Just some general relationship advice. People really don't like when half their money goes missing mysteriously. It's just a rule of thumb. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for today's story time. You guys have been murdering it recently. Like, I asked for 2,000 likes yesterday, and y'all got it in a day, and that's bizarre. So I'm going to be nice today, okay? 1,000 likes on today's story time, and you guys can get one tomorrow. I'll lower it. It's the weekend, and it's a Friday. Y'all are sitting back, probably wanting to hear about my likes that I've made. So 1,000 likes, and I'll get you guys tomorrow. On that note, you guys are all incredible. Subscribe if you're new, comment down below, and I'm going to go steal my mom's credit card to buy Fortnite. Not skins, just buy Fortnite.
I was paying for in-play Wi-Fi for months before I finally got it. So uncovered hidden subscriptions and notified you when it charges up company. From there, you decide if you want that service. And if not, cancel it right from the app. Download Trueco. It's a money app that works for you.
This is the grind of grinding. Just come at me, dude. Like, damn. Oh my gosh. Hitboxes, hello, where are you?
Yeah, that's right. I guess you saw my video on the time that girl I dated in college tried to curse me and was I had a similar experience, and it made me giggle, so I figured I would share it with y'all. And yeah, it should be a pretty good time. Be sure to press the like button, or no joke, no scam, your mom's a hoe. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Just no.
Celebrate. It's not good. Nice rack in her ass Brazilian, just turned 21, but my bank's million. Swear I'm a little drunk, but it's a hell of a feeling. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I don't know what's been going on. I don't know if it's because of TikTok or what, but I feel like there's been a big resurgence in, like, people thinking they're witches or wizards. You know what I mean? Like, there was a little bit of a phase in the early 2010s where a couple kids I went to school with were convinced that they had magical powers, but, it seems like it's really been on the rise lately, dude. On TikTok, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how, like, oh, if you take a lemon and you sprinkle enough cinnamon on it while wishing bad upon your ex, you know, like, he'll fall and break his leg. And as much as I wish stuff was that easy, dude, the chances of your ex turning into the my leg guy from SpongeBob because you put cinnamon on a lemon is slim to none. But for whatever reason, it's really been spreading. And I guess the person who sent me in this story was dating a girl who at the time was not a witch. She was not really into it, you know. She was a pretty normal person, but she had a couple friends at school, a group of some witches and wizards, you know, just an out there group that was convinced that they had magical powers. And at first, when her friend group started convincing themselves that they were magic, him and her would kind of make fun of them a little bit, like, oh, you know, are you hanging out with your friends today? Be careful, you never know when they might put a curse on you. Like, they would make fun of it. She was kind of on board that it was ridiculous. But over time of hanging out with these weird wizardry kids, she kind of started to get more and more defensive whenever he would try to like poke fun at it or point out how it was a little bit silly. Like, she would be like, you know, there is some validity to what they're saying, you know, like they might actually be magic. And listen, dude, I'm not saying that there isn't some, you know, pagan rituals or whatever that have like a religious significance. I'm sure that stuff exists, but, you know, believe it or not, no, I don't actually think that there's some teenage kids out there chilling with magical powers. I really
Ouch.
don't, if there is, they're at Hogwarts. They're not just chilling, arguing with people on TikTok or whatever. So naturally, whenever she started to get more defensive, he just kind of stopped bringing it up. He was like, yeah, I don't really want to argue with my girlfriend. That's not exactly what I want to be doing all the time. So whatever, if her friends want to be weird witches and somehow she believes that they've got magical powers, then that's for them to do. Whatever, they want to roleplay, they can roleplay. But, you know, after they stopped talking about it, he kind of realized that his girlfriend's entire demeanor was changing, you know? She started to act very differently. She started to be a little bit angrier with him. And obviously, people have personality changes. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want you guys to think that the story is like, oh, you can't change as a person. Sometimes people just change and grow apart, and it is what it is. So, naturally, when he noticed that she was getting a little angrier, he sat down and was like, hey, for the past couple weeks, you seem just annoyed with me, like, is everything okay? And she starts talking about how she's converting to become a witch because her and her friends did a ritual and discovered that she has magical powers, and, you know, many generations ago, she descended from powerful witches on the East Coast, and starts talking about how in her past life she was a witch, and da-da-da-da-da. And listen, man, you know, I'm sure that there are some people out there that ancestors were killed at the Salem witch trials or whatever, but she starts talking about how her and her friends have done these rituals to remember their past life, and she remembers putting curses on people in Boston, you know, in the 1300s. And the only problem with that is Boston didn't really exist in the 1300s, so the story's not making sense. And she starts talking about how, like, she knows that he doesn't believe it, and it's obviously disrespectful that he doesn't believe in her past life because it's something that means a lot to her. And the kid's just kind of sitting there like, okay. So she kind of says, now that I've told you this, you know, I want you to respect it, or like we can go our separate ways. And thankfully, the person who sent in the story is like, alright, you know, I was cool with you believing in some magic, everything was chill, hanging out with your witch friends, doing rituals or whatever, but now that you're starting to be like in a past life, in a city that didn't exist in my past life, I was putting curses on people because I actually am a witch, and I'm actually magic, you know, I'm actually gonna learn how to do that stuff and transform into a frog.
Oh my gosh.
It's probably time to just cut them. You know, boy, girl, neither, whatever it is, the second they start talking about how they're gonna magically transform themselves into a frog, it's probably time to just go the other direction. Nobody's gonna judge you. Hey, right, hey, whatever. Tells her, alright, I think I'm she starts talking about how obviously someone like him would be intimidated by the power of a real witch, and she should have known that he was too pathetic to ever be able to ever handle the truth of magic in this realm or whatever. And he's trying his best to be nice, you know, he can tell that obviously she's going through it, so he's like, yep, you know me, I'm just so stupid, I'm the worst. Just really trying to, like, go along with it so that way she doesn't get as mad as
Lindor, made to melt you.
Shut up.
Master chocolatier.
she could be. The only problem is she catches on and she's like, oh my god, are you being condescending to me? Are you just agreeing with me because you don't want me to be mad at you? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm crazy? And when she starts asking if he thinks he's crazy, he's just like, not knowing what to say, because obviously he doesn't want to lie in this situation, but the truth might not set him free in this particular scenario.
I built this thing here, Majigger, and it's gonna be the place where I store all of my industrial furnaces.
Yeah, okay. You and I both know that's just not true, Mom, alright? If I tell you the truth, I'm screwed. And in this scenario, if he's like, yeah, I think you're crazy, he's screwed. And obviously the silence speaks volumes, and she starts going off about how she's not crazy and magic's real, and she's gonna prove it to him, and da-da-da-da-da, and he's just like, alright, you know, maybe you can prove it to me, I'm really sorry, you know, but I do think regardless of whether or not you're magic, we probably just need some time apart. He was really trying to be nice, you know, and that's probably the best way to do it. Regardless of whether or not you're magic, you need some time apart. You know you have to be feeling like you're in a background episode of Wizards or Waverly Place when you're like, I know you think you're magic, Stephanie, but we've got to go our separate ways. Like, oh, okay, Disney sitcom lad over here, your girlfriend thought she was a wizard, what are the odds? So he's trying to be nice and she's not taking it well, and it's almost like the nicer he's trying to be, the angrier it's making her. So as he's just like, yeah, we're gonna go our separate ways, you know, it's been fun, but we've got to go apart, she finally snaps and she's like, you want to know how I'm gonna prove that magic is real? And he's like, oh, how are you gonna prove to me that magic is real? And she starts kind of waving her hands around in the air. Alright guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for just 1 second. On screen now is actually a Roblox gift card. I give away a gift card in every video here on this channel as a way to just say thank you to everyone who subscribed with those notifications on. So if you're not already subscribed with notifications on, you might as well hit that button so you never miss another upload. And I'm literally giving away free money, so you got nothing to lose. And yeah, let's get back to some witchcraft. Enjoy. So she starts waving her hands in the air, and naturally the guy's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm putting a curse on you. Keep in mind, she is literally kind of waving her hands, almost as if she's like Aang from the Avatar trying to airbend, you know? And she starts like mumbling these words in a language that doesn't exist. Like she's really thinking that she's putting a curse on him. So he's just kind of standing there awkwardly, and he goes to leave and walk away. And when he goes away, she's like, wait, you have to stay until I'm done. And he's like, okay, you want me to stay here until you're finished putting the curse on me? And she's like, yeah. And obviously he just walks away at this point. And listen, I'm not saying that like witches are nerfed in real life, but realistically, if it takes you multiple minutes to curse somebody, and you also have to be in the same room as them and hope they don't leave, I feel like you're never really gonna get that many curses off of people. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Mumbaya, Zumbadu, if I don't know you, I'm leaving. And if, like, I'm sleeping, you're gonna wake me up when you're chanting Zaboomafoo, like, at 2 in the morning. Come on. This is the way witches really work. No wonder they got hung so much back in the day, bro. They were trying to, like, curse the town, and they just woke everybody up. They're like, what the hell are you doing? You're a witch. Duh. Obviously, the witch trials were bad, alright? I don't want to get canceled. Anyways. He just leaves because he's not going to stand there and be cursed, and she starts screaming after him that he's going to regret it and the curse is going to be worse because he left or whatever, so he just goes about his day like, alright, well that was awkward. He goes home, he's playing Xbox with his buddies, and he's kind of telling them about it, and they're like, bro, that's insane, you dodged a bullet on that one, genuinely. The more somebody, like, tries to curse you for wanting to leave, the better it is to get out of it, you know? And he's like, yeah, you're right. So he's feeling better, he's not too depressed about it, genuinely. He's like, whatever, I have more time to play games, I can just focus on school. He wasn't too pressed about it, so he goes to sleep, he's doing his thing, and the next day he goes to school and he's talking to his president, and sure enough, he looks at her really confused, obviously, and he's like, oh, I slept fine. Why? She's like, you slept fine? Yeah, I slept fine. And he's like, no, you didn't. You're lying to me. I know you didn't sleep fine. And he's obviously confused because he genuinely did sleep fine. There was no trouble sleeping. And so he's like, no, I slept fine. And he happened to wear an Apple Watch when he's sleeping that would track his sleep. So he pulls up the app and he shows her that, like, nah, you slept fine, there was nothing going on. And the girl's face is so confused, and she's like, the curse I put on you was supposed to prevent you from falling asleep until I fell asleep. And I stayed up all night last night to make sure that you were never going to be able to sleep. And so he's like, oh, alright, well, it didn't work, you know, he doesn't care, bro. But think about it, this girl had stayed up all night to try to curse her ex to make him unable to sleep, you know, like,
If I stay up all night, then he won't be able to sleep. Meanwhile, while she's sitting there staying up for 24 hours fueled on pure hatred and cursing on witchcraft, he's just getting some Z's playing Xbox with the boys, bro. It's genuinely hilarious if you think about it. So obviously she thinks that he's lying. She's like, you definitely didn't sleep. I know the magic worked. And he's like, all right, well, it didn't, so have a good day. And all of his friends are obviously confused. He had told them about it, but like, you know, they didn't really believe that it was that crazy. Obviously, when you're telling a story and you're trying to make it funny, you exaggerate a little bit. But nope, sure enough, here she is walking up to them admitting that, like, she's staying up for 24 hours straight just to try to curse this dude. And the entire day, she keeps walking up to him, trying to see if his luck had changed. And it wasn't even like he had good luck, but the fact that his luck wasn't bad, like, you know, that it wasn't awful, that he wasn't just getting basically hit by a meteor every 15 seconds was driving her crazy, to the point where, like, the last time she asked if everything was okay, she was crying, basically just wishing that there was something bad that had happened to him, which I feel like has got to be bad karma, you know? Wishing something bad happened to somebody seems like it would be some bad juju. But hey, what do I know, bro? She's a witch. She can probably, like, reverse the karma polarity or whatever and make herself get into witch heaven or whatever it is. I don't know, dude. I just work here. Regardless, she went on to basically be obsessed with making sure that this dude's life sucked, and he just kind of moved on, and at the end of the day, her just kind of being obsessed with trying to make his life suck made her life suck, and he just didn't really care, because every time she tried to ruin his life, she did it with witchcraft and magic, and, you know, Ripley's, believe it or not, that actually isn't too effective at ruining someone's life. Who would have thought? Regardless, guys, I just thought that would be a funny story time as soon as I saw it. I figured I had to share it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking just a quick second to press the like button and comment down below. It really does help out the channel, and if you're new, subscribe and turn on those notifications. If you like the intro song, you can find a link to it in the description, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffcast, and a link to the merch store. All those are pretty fire, if I do get to say so myself. Obviously, I'm biased because I, you know, made the merch, but you should get it. It's pretty swag-tastic. And, yeah, other than that, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. I appreciate all y'all watching the videos quite a bit, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.
How many subscriptions do you pay for? Truebill found subscriptions that I didn't even know that I was paying. And they make canceling the ones that I don't use as easy as clicking a button. This year, I saved $720. So what are you waiting for? Try Truebill now.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a story time for y'all I think you're going to enjoy, about just arguably one of the stupidest kids we've talked about on the channel. Obviously not all the kids' fault, but regardless, when the story was sent in to me, I thought it was hilarious. Be sure to press the like button, or no joke, no scam, you're going to interact with someone this stupid. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Nice racking her ass Brazilian, just turned 21, but my bank's $1 million.
Alright, so like I said, this story was sent in to me, and the person that sent this in works at a family fun center. One of those places that has, like, you know, the golf carts, the mini golf, the arcade, all that. I guess go-karts would be a better description than a golf cart. But you guys get the idea. You know, one of those places that you go with your family to have a fun Sunday or whatever. And because of that, he had definitely interacted with quite a few people on a day. If it was like a busy Saturday, there was tons of people there. And, you know, whenever you work in a place where there's a lot of people that feel like they're entitled to a good time, you have to deal with a certain amount of crazy people. And from time to time, there would be a Karen, you know, there would be an angry dad. But most of all, the stories that he had from this is that, like, the kids were more nuts than anything, because they would go there and just be told there's no rules. Sure, go drive go-karts and, you know, run around on the playground. I don't care. Just leave me and mom alone long enough to drink margaritas. That was the vibe that a lot of parents would bring there, you know. And a lot of the stories he has from the kids being crazy involved, like, them attacking the mascot. It was one of those places where they had a dude come out, like, in a suit and be like, "Hiya, kids.
4 days?
Danny the Moose, and if you like to eat peanuts, then you're at the place." Like, you know, one of those stupid mascots. And apparently kids would attack it from time to time, more like punching it and stuff. No one would ever seriously injure it, obviously, but, you know, they would just kind of do that stuff. They like to make messes everywhere. And all in all, it was just one of those jobs where, like, you came home at the end of the day kind of exhausted from dealing with people. And for whatever reason, on this particular day, he encountered a kid.
I gotta mark this. I gotta mark the oil off my list. 100,000 oil. Done. Now I'm gonna need to get started on the metal.
That was worse behaved than everything else he had seen before. Like I said, this dude's seen kids freak out and attack the mascot, you know, he's seen parents fight over go-kart races. So if he's saying that something is worse than he's ever seen, it's gotta be pretty bad. It was a Sunday, so it just happens to be one of those times where it's really, really, really busy. So because of that, one of the things that they have to stay super on top of is sanitization. As we all know, there's that thing going around, and because of like the way the business is set up, the city comes in and checks on it all the time, so they have to clean the machines very often, make sure everybody's following the rules, that type of stuff. And so on this particular day, he was assigned to the arcade section, and like he was just kind of supposed to walk around, and if he noticed somebody leave him and like, stop playing, he'd go over there and clean it off. Like that was his job for the day. And all in all, it's really not that difficult of a job.
I'm 9,000 away. Who really cares? I don't.
Wipe down the handle. It's not that difficult. And he's going through from machine to machine, and he looks around the corner and he sees there's this Street Fighter machine that these 3 kids are playing on, and so he does another lap, and when he comes back, the 3 kids are gone, except there's one kid there that is now literally on his tippy toes licking all of the buttons of the Street Fighter game. And he's not one of the kids that was playing it, he's just some random kid. And obviously he goes over there, he's like, hey, please don't do that. Stop licking the arcade machine, you're gonna get sick, you don't know who's been touching that, please stop it. And the kid turns around, and instead of being like embarrassed that he's licking the Street Fighter machine, you know, he just instantly bursts into the, you can't tell me what to do, I do whatever I want. And then as the worker is looking at him, turns back around and keeps licking the Street Fighter button. Keep in mind, this is like in a public arcade tons of people are playing on. It's already weird enough you want to lick arcade buttons even if they're clean. That's weird in general. But it's especially weird if you know people have been like grabbing at that with their messy hands, you know? And he really doesn't know what to do in this situation. Like this guy literally just went back to licking the arcade machine. What are you supposed to do? So he kind of just is like, okay, where are your parents? You can't do that. Like, you have to go talk to your parents. And the kid's all smug. He's like, fine, you can talk to my parents. And so they start walking out of the arcade section over to, like, the spot where you eat pizza and wings, that type of stuff. And they get over there to that section, and he points over, and at the last bench, all the way at the end, is a mom and a dad. And this mom and dad are just munching away on some pizza, bro. Not a care in the world. They literally have no idea where the kid is. You know, I don't know why he's out there looking at Street Fighter and there's plenty of good pizza sitting there waiting for him, but hey, I guess I'm not here. And so he walks over to him and he goes, excuse me, is this your kid? And they look at him, look at the kid, and then go, why? Before they answer if he's the kid, they like to ask why. And he says, well, you know, he was over there licking arcade machines as I was cleaning them. I hadn't got a chance to clean it yet. So I told him it's probably not a good idea to go around licking the buttons on the arcade machine. He said, I can't tell him what to do, so I said, let's go talk to your parents. And they kind of like look at the situation for a second, like they're sizing up the
Audible is the best place to listen for everyone. For story people, comedy people, curious people, and people who want something new right now. Audible has the best of what you love. Download now and try it today.
Crypto is a way to build the future I want, grow my business, and create opportunities. The thing I like about Voyager is it makes crypto easy. It gives me hope for the future.
Supposed to do. And they launch into the, well, who the hell are you to tell my kid what to do? You're a guy working at a place like this, so I don't think you have any right to be telling anyone how to live their life. If my kid wanted to be licking the buttons on the arcade machine, then there was probably a good reason for him to be doing it, and who are you to interrupt him while he's doing his thing? And the worker is kind of in shock, right? Because he just can't believe that he's having to argue with these people that licking an arcade machine is a normal thing to do. Like, he's literally in shock because he cannot believe that he's going to continue this conversation. So he tries to calmly explain that, like, you know, well, I'm just saying, if he runs around licking whatever surfaces people have been touching a lot, he's gonna get really sick. Like, do whatever you want, I guess. It's America. It's against our rules to lick stuff, though. So if you want to stay here and keep playing the machine, you have to stop licking them, because that's a no-no. And they're like, well, whatever, I just feel like you shouldn't have told my kid what to do. And listen, man, I'm just confused because I thought it was common sense.
Alright guys, I'm gonna interrupt the video for just 1 second. If you take a look at your screen, you'll see a gift card code. For those of you that don't know, I give one of these away every video, so subscribe, turn on notifications, and press the like button, and your mom's a hoe. Like, in my opinion, I just thought it was obvious to everybody that licking strange objects that a bunch of people have been touching was a really bad idea. Like, when this was sent to me, I didn't even realize that there were parents out there that were like, no, I actually prefer when my kid roams around a family fun center just trying to get whatever illness is on the floor, bro. So whatever, they kind of argue back and forth, and eventually he gives up, and he's like, okay, fine, well, I'm just gonna leave him here. So he leaves the parent with the kids, right, which is what you should do in that situation, and he goes back to his job, and, you know, the way it worked here is, like, shifts were kind of rotating, so you would go from, like, one section to another section to try to keep things more fun and, like, fresh. So after his shift of cleaning the arcade, he had to go out with the mascot in costume and, like, be the handler. Like, the guy not in the costume who's standing with him. And so, you know, they're doing their laps around this family fun center with this mascot. He's got the head on. The suit is more like just the head and then, like, just like an outfit underneath the head, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like a whole mascot costume thing, but they still have someone with them because it's hard to see in the head. And so out of nowhere, the same kid that had been licking the arcade machine comes sprinting full speed around the corner, and he sees the mascot, and instead of slowing down, he speeds up, gets a jump, and drop kicks this dude right where no one would ever want to be drop kicked, you know? And so obviously the guy in the costume, not expecting this, just immediately drops to the ground in pain, because that's what anyone would do if you got drop kicked where this dude had gotten drop kicked, if you're catching my drift. And there was like a bunch of parents and other kids around, and they're all looking at this situation like, what just happened? Because you don't ever expect somebody to just start busting out their karate skills on the mascot of the family fun center. And the way it worked is when you were walking around with the mascot, it was the mascot, a worker, and a manager. So the manager is standing right there, and he grabs the kid on the arm and is like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why would you come in and kick the mascot? Where are your parents? We're gonna go have a talk with them. And the kid starts laughing, and the manager's really not having as much of it. And he's like, why do you think that's so funny? You could have really hurt him. Like, do you have any idea what you just did? Like, you know that's a person in there, right? You didn't just drop kick some animated character. And the kid's like, yeah, I know it's just a man in a mouse costume, okay? Stop trying to trick me. I know that's not actually the mascot. And the manager is just kind of stupefied, right? He's like, dude, wait, so you're telling me you knew there was a person in there and you still ran around the corner and drop kicked them trying to hurt him? And he's like, yeah, I know I kicked them. It was hilarious, dude. You should have seen the look on all your faces. Like, this kid seriously just drop kicked the mascot and, you know, got mad that they were, like, telling him it's a person. He knew it was a person, he just didn't care. So whatever, the manager's like, well, we need to go talk to your parents because that's unacceptable. And the kid, once again, kind of unapologetically is like, all right, fine, you know, okay, let's go to my parents. And the entire time they're trying to get him to apologize, and he's just not doing it. Like, no matter what they tell him, no matter what they threaten him with, you know, we're gonna kick you out of here, he does not care. He does not feel sorry about doing that to the mascot, you know, licking the arcade machine. It's just a lot at this point. And they go over there and they tell the parents, your kid attacked the mascot, he won't apologize, you guys need to leave. Like, you guys have to go. At this point, there's no option, you guys. And immediately the parents both break into like, I paid $10.99 to get in here with all day access, I'm not going anywhere. If you're gonna kick me out, then you're gonna give me a refund, because there's no way that I'm missing out on my $10.99, or, you know, I'm gonna get my money's worth, and you're giving me a refund. And obviously they've been there all day at that point. Like, they probably did get their $11 worth, but the manager doesn't even buckle to that. He's not giving them a refund. He's like, no, you need to leave, okay? You're kicking...
Just stop trying to do math.
You can't be running around here attacking the staff like a wildebeest in the lion.
Happy Hour just got happier at IHOP, with a menu starting at $6, featuring burgers, pancakes, and more yum yums. So while you can't buy happiness, you can buy happiness. IHOP Hour, starting at $6.
And like, you expect to stay. He's already had an issue with one of my workers where he's licking the arcade machine. On top of that, now he's attacking the mascot. I'm sorry, there's just no world where I can let you guys stay right now. And the parents are sitting there trying to come up with like some excuse to get something out of this, right? They want their refund, they want a free pass to come back, they want something out of it. So then the dad pipes up and he's like, well, who's to say that the guy in the costume wasn't talking trash to my kid? I know my kid might have hit the mascot, but I don't feel like my kid would have hit him for no reason. So who's to say that he wasn't like talking trash to my son? And obviously the manager is just kind of stupefied in that moment because it's arguably the dumbest thing he's ever heard. First of all, this guy's got like a giant head on, so it would be impossible for him to talk trash easily. And on top of that, everyone's around him. You know what I mean? So he looks at the dad and he's like, are you serious? And the dad's like, yeah, how do you know he wasn't talking trash? So he tells him, he has a giant head on. It would be impossible for him to talk trash unless he like screamed it. And even then, I was standing right there. It didn't happen. Your kid ran up out of nowhere and attacked the mascot. So I can't, like, I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but I can't believe that you don't think your son would do that because he just did. I literally watched him run up and drop kick the mascot. And as this is going on, right, the kid had scurried off. So they're like, where is he? And so they start looking around. And so they were kind of in the food area. And they look over, and Mr. Kick-A-Mascot, you know, the kid licking the arcade machine, the kid that attacked the mascot, has climbed up onto the soda machine counter and has his mouth over the nozzle, pushing it to drink soda. Like, literally climbing up on the counter, mouth over the soda fountain nozzle, like literally making me want to puke. Because here's the thing, dude, those soda machines in fast food restaurants are already disgusting, right? Like, I hate to break it to you, most of those places in McDonald's have more bacteria than the bathrooms. I know, it's a gross study, but it's true. This isn't a McDonald's, but like, it's not like a soda fountain's a great place to be putting your mouth on the nozzle. But on top of that, if this kid's been running around licking arcade machines, now any person that gets a soda just runs the risk of developing the Black Plague because who knows what illnesses are like here. And what illnesses does this kid want to have? Like, what is up with this kid's obsession of just trying to just get an illness from trying to make contact with as many dirty things as humanly possible? Anyways, they look over and see that, and at that point the manager's like, no, you're done. You have to leave now. Like, that's it. That's the last straw. There is no discussion. There is no debate. You guys have to leave in your van. You can never come back. And the parents, when they hear that they're banned, seem dramatically upset. Like,
hello?
Hello?
Hey.
What are you doing?
Oh, well, just playing games.
Are you at home?
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Ark.
Wow. Oh,
Also, how's this mic sound?
What?
Also, how's this mic sound?
I can hear you okay.
Yeah, because it's the mic coming out of my speaker.
Oh, your new one?
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, oh, by the way, your cord that you were looking for is in the door of the car.
Yeah, I know. I threw it in there because it's broken.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Can you throw it away?
Yeah.
Okay, you have a good day?
Yeah.
Alright, good to see. Alright, well, I just want to say hi and I love ya.
Love you too.
I'll talk to you later.
Alright.
Alright, bye, safe.
Bye.
something that they did every weekend. Are you kicking me out and banning me right now? Are you serious? And the manager is like, yes. Did you not see what your kid just did while he's already in trouble for breaking the rules? Like, yes, you guys are banned. And the parents at that point try to do one last stupid argument though. So keep in mind, the kid is already in trouble for attacking the mascot, runs over, climbs up on the soda machine, puts his mouth over the nozzle, and starts drinking soda he didn't pay for, right? Like, that actually happens. And the parents' response to that as to why they shouldn't be kicked out or get in trouble for it was, well, you didn't have a sign there, so it's not like he could have known. You're kicking me out because you didn't put a sign on the soda machine? That's not my son's fault. And at this point, the manager has just had enough, bro. He just snapped. And he's like, no, I'm kicking you out because you and your kid are morons, and it's a health hazard to have him here. So you guys need to leave now. And the parents were just kind of in shock, right? And listen, I understand the kid's a kid, right? But like at a certain point, it's just, you guys have to leave. There's obviously too many problems. I don't care if you paid $11. It's not worth $11 to have to be doing all of this, right? But obviously the parents get very defensive and they're like, my kid is not a moron. I'm not a moron. You have no reason to think that we're stupid, so that's just uncalled for. And the manager has just boiled over on this point, right? Because like he's a manager at a family fun center, but at the end of the day, it is just an 18-year-old kid dealing with this trash. And he's like, well then if he's not a moron, then you guys have to be the biggest morons on the planet. Because who manages to get in trouble 3 times in 30 minutes for doing all of these things? Like, let's be honest here. Your kid literally set a speed run record for getting in as much trouble as humanly possible. You don't even like to discipline people here. So the fact that I have to come over here and kick him out shows that you guys have to be morons. There's a moron somewhere in this family, right? And at that point, I think the parents realized there was nothing they were going to get out of this. They're not getting a refund. They're not getting allowed back in. They try to do the whole, well, we're leaving, but because we want to leave. Since you want to insult us and give us an attitude and call us morons, then fine. We'll just leave. But we're leaving because we want to leave, not because you kicked us out. And at that point, the manager doesn't care why they leave, just as long as they leave. So he's like, all right, I don't care. Just get out. Like, I don't care. And at that point, it had become a big scene. Like, literally everybody there was watching, paying attention, you know, taking pictures, all that stuff. As you do if there's some big scene in, like, a family fun center. You would all be recording and watching, too. So the manager, like, gave everybody a 10% off coupon because he obviously realized that he probably shouldn't have gone that ballistic, you know, and thankfully everybody was pretty chill with it. He kept his job. Moral of the story though, dude, I don't know if you have kids, watch your kids, bro, and like maybe be a little bit concerned if they're roaming around licking stuff at an arcade. That seems like bizarre behavior that's gonna end up with them getting a disease from the 1600s. But yeah, anyways guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought, and of course subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, the Scuffcast, or of course you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to get a discount on G Fuel and help me out. I'd appreciate it. And last but not least, 2 more things I gotta shout out. First things first, I did put some of my story times up on Spotify, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't. I'll put the link on the description. My dog felt like joining, I'm sorry. And we also got the Karen Christmas sweater. I'll put that link at the top of the description, but you guys should definitely go check that out and get in the Christmas spirit. My dog is barking because you don't have a Karen Christmas sweater, guys. Oh, my goodness. Just going ballistic because he wants you guys to get it too. Anyways, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time in another video. I'm out. Peace.
Do you want V-Bucks? I will show step by step.
Oh, I don't want V-Bucks.
Yo, what's going on, dude? It's your boy Saw, dude, back again with another Saw, dude, video. Hope you guys are all, oh my god, I can't talk like that, bro. I feel like I have a vibrator on my throat. I really can't make my throat gyrate like that. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. You guys need to press the like button right now or your computer will explode. You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7. Alright, you guys press like by now. That's what matters. As you guys know, I fancy myself a bit of a party fanatic. I like to have a good time. I'm not gonna lie. I like to get down and dirty like Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing. I like to boogie a little bit. And by boogie, I mean embarrassingly shake my white ass on the dance floor to a really offbeat rap song and everyone laugh at me. You know, as long as people are laughing, I don't really care. They can laugh with me, at me. It doesn't really bother me that much. As long as everyone's having a good time, we're gonna be solid. That's what's really important at the end of the day, is everybody partying, everybody having a fantastic time. And because of this, I was invited to quite a few parties in high school because I just like to have a good time. I like to make people laugh. I like to have fun. So it wasn't rare for me to get an invite to be like, yo, Ryan, come stop by, hang out, what up? Let's come party and in the USA, like Miley Cyrus. I don't know. It's kind of an old song. But with most high school parties, they of course get busted, and that's where the fun really kicks in, ladies and gentlemen. But this one was not busted by the cops. No, 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 no. It's much worse than that. I would rather get kicked out of the house by a SWAT team throwing flashbangs in every window than ever have to meet a parent that walks in their house to a bunch of drunk teenage kids just absolutely destroying the place. I don't know if you've ever seen rage in a parent's eyes like that before, but trust me when I say it is absolutely insane. Like, the actual anger you can feel coming out of a dad's yell when he says, "Get out of my house," is terrifying. And that's the type of story that we have for you guys today. So I hope you guys are buckled in, ready to go like the hamster ball I'm in right now. Because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a doozy of a situation here, like the Jersey Shore. So there was this girl that was pretty popular in high school. She was actually, like, in the band. I know that doesn't sound super swagalicious, expialidocious, but the band at our school was really good, like, nationally, worldwide renowned, so it was pretty cool to be on the band at our school. And she was throwing a little get-together, and me and her had history together. I actually sat right behind her. Right behind her. Gee Willikers, my accent. But regardless, she was like, you know, I'd really like you to stop by. Here's the address. Stop by. You know, come have a good time. And I was like, bet. Are your parents going to be there? She's like, no, they're out of town. And I was like, bet. That's how you know it's going to get wild, because there's no one to stop the party except for the cops. But anyways, that Friday comes, and I whip on over to the house in my little Hyundai. And, you know, we start booling out, we start having fun, people are flowing, everybody's having a good time, everybody's, you know, getting a little hydrated. That's what you do at a party. And things start to get out of control pretty quickly, as all high school parties do. People are jumping on the couches, the coffee table got broken. I'm not really sure how, but outside of that, pretty calm party as far as things are concerned, at least calm enough for me to tell a story about it. This is about as calm as a party that you will get a story about, you know? Nothing too crazy. But of course, this girl is freaking out because no one likes to see that their stuff's getting trashed, especially when they have to explain to their parents how things got trashed, you know? No one ever likes to have a conversation, yeah, Mom, there was a drunk, shirtless, fat kid partying on the couch, and he body-slammed our coffee table to just really flex on the girls in the band that he's a dominant alpha male. So regardless, not too happy, so she starts trying to shut the party down, get people she doesn't like out. And at this point, the party shrunk down to about 10 or 15 people, but the mess is still from 25 to 30 people, and we haven't cleaned up. So the house is trashed, there's cups in the lawn, it's just a mess, it's a disaster. It looks like a party looks like after, when you haven't cleaned up yet, you know? You've seen it, I'm pretty sure most of you have, but regardless, it's kind of a mess. And she's like, oh my god, we're gonna have to spend so much time cleaning up tomorrow, right? So I'm being a nice guy, me and her are friends, I was like, hey, you know, I'll stay and I'll help you clean up, right? And then the people who are left, the 10 or 15 of them, are like, yeah, no problem. Well, the neighbors, of course, were an elderly couple that doesn't like parties. Most elderly couples don't like parties. I don't know if you know this. Old people don't like fun very much. That's why I'm so excited to be an old man, so I can be grumpy and no one can say anything to me. Like, at all. What are they going to do? Oh, you're an old man. Don't be grumpy. Exactly. So the grumpy old men, man and woman, instead of calling the cops on the party, did one better. See, your parents were an hour out of town. There's this kind of vacation getaway just outside of Las Vegas where a lot of people go to, like, have a good time, I guess. And, you know, that's where they were. So they called her parents and said that there was a giant party and the place was getting trashed, which, of course, she did not know at the time. But the parents drove an hour back just to see what was going on. Like, the parents already got their vacation interrupted by elderly neighbors who were probably not happy, and then drove an hour back, and the first thing they see when they pull up to the house is their front yard just trashed. Red Solo cups everywhere, just a mess, there's trash all over the place, things are broken, like, it's just not a good look. When you come home from a vacation, especially when you trust your daughter to stay home alone, it's not something that you want to see. So of course, Dad comes screeching through the front door like a bald eagle in his underwear, just screaming, I want everybody out! And before we can even try to explain, like, some poor kid tries to go, we're just helping. He's like, out, 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 out. Poor kid was really just trying to be like, we're helping your daughter clean. And Franklin the turtle out here stuck his neck out and got it straight chopped off, alright? So the dad's screaming at everybody to get out. So of course, we get out. You know, the last thing you want to do is a screaming dad. But on the way out, he's just screaming and he's like, I can't believe you would throw a party while we're not home. Is this what you do when we're not here? There's alcohol involved. We raised you better than this. You're a good Christian girl. How dare you? And trust me, I've seen this girl at a few parties. She is not, and I mean not, a good Christian girl, okay? I won't go into details, but let's just say this lady, the devil was in the details, and there was a lot of details, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless, the dad is freaking out, just telling everyone, get out, get out, get out. And of course, course he recognizes somebody. It wasn't me. I'm not gonna lie. I got out scot-free. This was not an issue. But I guess he worked with one of the kids' daddies. Like, and I guarantee that your father will be hearing about this on Monday, young man. Does your father know you're here? And the kid gets really quiet and goes, oh, yeah, he kind of does. And he's like, what? He knew and he didn't tell me. He goes, no, he didn't know what house it was. So this kid's almost getting his dad in trouble for being at the party. It was just not a good situation. The dad, of course, is freaking out. I can't blame him. If I came home to a bunch of kids trashing my house, I wouldn't want an explanation. I wouldn't want people to be like, no, we're helping clean. I'd want them out. So I really can't be too mad at the dad, to be real with you. But this poor girl definitely got embarrassed in front of everyone who was just trying to help her. And, like, we all scattered like rats, you know. We did not want to stick around. I drove some people home because, of course, some people were hydrated. I just want to make sure everybody gets home safe. If you are going to a party, guys, don't ever drive drunk. Like, it's not worth it. Trust me. Just get someone to drive you home, Uber, whatever it is. Like, you know, you guys just got to be careful. It's not worth getting hurt. It's not worth hurting yourself. Definitely just think about it. But, yeah, I ended up seeing the girl on Monday, and she was like, yeah, I'm grounded for about the next 8 years. I might be able to go to my own graduation party, you know, but it's going to be cutting it close. Because I guess her parents just thought she was the most pure, innocent girl to ever exist, so they just had no clue she was partying. And to the neighbors that snitched on her, you kind of a bitch for that, dude. Like, they were just having fun. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it was out of control. I've been to some out-of-control parties. There's stories on the channel where things have gotten really out of control. This was not one of those parties. Like, by no means was I ever sitting there, oh, this is really getting out of hand, which I have done a few times. In the grand scheme of things, this party was really calm. The grounding, you know, that was supposed to last forever only lasted a few months. I saw her at a party like a couple weeks later. She was kind of a legend around the school just because it was like so funny that her dad busted in and just screamed at everybody to get out. And she just was thankful that people like tried to stay and help clean up. She had to clean the entire house with the hangover, like typical party situation. Nothing too crazy when your parents come home and you bust you. It was just the first and only time parents have busted a party ever. Like usually it's the cops or like the parents just don't come home. But the fact that the neighbors snitched on this girl and her dad just screamed at everybody really was funny. She was super embarrassed, but I really did think it was funny. Like I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I guess she did. And I guess if my parents broke up a party, I think it was a way bigger deal too. Just because, you know, you're way more embarrassed of your parents than people are. Like people who think, oh, my parents are so embarrassing. No one around you was really concerned with what your parents were doing. In fact, like, we thought it was hilarious because her dad had a giant mustache and he was really yelling. It was wiggling, like doing the caterpillar dance. So yeah, a caterpillar yelled at me and told me to get out of his house at, you know, like 2 in the morning. But yeah, on that note, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you pressing the like button. It helps out the videos a ton. Like, I know people, it's so annoying when YouTubers beg for likes. It's not my fault that Susan has made a dumb algorithm that will only promote my videos if they get likes. If I could do YouTube without likes, that'd be cool. That's just not how Susan works. I'm not gonna get subs if I don't get likes, so I need you guys to do that. Comment down below, that helps out the channel a ton too. I'm just being honest with you guys. The reason I beg so much is because it really helps the videos do better, and I like getting views because I'm a shallow asshole. That's about it. But yeah, if you enjoy me, feel free to follow me on Instagram @scrubby_YT. It is a good way to keep in touch with me. Twitter is @ScrubbyVivo. There's a Discord server that is in the description down below. And yeah, March has been an insane month. We're nearing 200K, like we're over halfway there, which is sick. So if we could get that by the end of April, that would be gnarly. And I've got a plan for tomorrow. Don't you guys worry, there will be a video. I no joke, no scam. Get ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are going to giggle. You're going to giggle your little heads off. But yeah, on that note, guys, my name is Scrubby. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And definitely would recommend getting yelled at by a dude with a ginormous mustache as he's yelling at you and saying, get out of my house, you crazy kids. Because it really just felt like something out of a Spy Kids movie. And I just like the vibe of that. I'm out. Peace.
Real cowboys customized and safe. Liberty Mutual.
Did someone else get a turn?
Roy Cleveland Sullivan. He was a park ranger that ended up being struck by lightning 7 times in his lifetime. So you're probably wondering, okay, getting struck by lightning 7 times is extremely unlucky, but like, what was this dude's story? How did this even happen? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrubby here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today we're going to be talking about somebody that didn't have a whole lot of great days, which is arguably the unluckiest man in history. Well, Roy Cleveland Sullivan was a guy who was born on February 7th, 1912 in Greene County, Virginia.
What's going on, guys?
That's good.
Yo, what's...
Roy Cleveland
I'll watch
Sullivan.
it. Why not?
He was a park ranger that ended up being struck by lightning 7 times in his lifetime. So you're probably wondering, okay, getting struck by lightning 7 times is extremely unlucky, but like, what was this dude's story? How did this even happen? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today we're going to be talking about somebody that didn't have a whole lot of great days, which is arguably the unluckiest man in history. Well, Roy Cleveland Sullivan was a guy who was born on February 7th, 1912 in Greene County, Virginia. He was one of 12 kids, so quite a big family. In his childhood, he was a pretty outdoorsy guy. He liked to be outside, and naturally, when it came time to get a job, he started looking for something that would let him be outdoors a lot. And in 1936, he started a job at Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. And as part of that job, he basically had to patrol and monitor the entire park. You know, he was outside a lot, and it was a really, really big park. So it would often be times where he would be walking from one thing to another while patrolling, and there was a thunderstorm, and there just wouldn't really be a lot of places to hide because, you know, he's in the middle of patrolling the national park. And what really sucks about this is, like, his luck was so bad that people started to avoid being around him later in his life. You know, he had been struck so many times and so many bad things happened to him that people really just assumed that there had to be a curse on this dude at this point, right? Like, there's no way someone's that unlucky. And he recalls a specific instance when he was walking with the chief ranger, like his boss, you know, on a thunderstormy type of day. And as soon as lightning struck, the chief ranger looked at him and was like, all right, I'll see you later. I don't want to talk here anymore. You know, I'm out of here. But that's a little bit of backstory on Roy Cleveland Sullivan here. Now we're going to get into the times he was extremely unlucky, which is the 7 times he was struck by lightning. Yeah, that's right. So the first one, 6 years after starting his job as a park ranger in April of 1942, there was a thunderstorm going on while he was patrolling the park, and he was kind of looking for a place to hide from the rain and lightning. And he ended up going underneath his fire lookout tower. In national parks, they have these huge towers, you know, that are kind of built to let people get a better view of everything and watch for smoke from any forest fires. But this particular tower that he decided to hide under in this instance was newly built, so it didn't have a lightning rod on it yet. And basically, this tower, because it didn't have a lightning rod, ended up getting struck by lightning 7 or 8 times, to the point where it catches on fire. There's fire jumping all over the place. And Sullivan was inside of it to take shelter, right? So he scrambles out of this thing that's on fire now, that's been struck a bunch, and as he's running out of this fire tower lookout thing, he gets a few feet out of it, and all of a sudden
we got 2 people watching the stream.
And this was the worst of all 7 of his strikes, but it ended up burning like a half-inch strip all the way down and then burned a hole in his shoe.
Right now I'm just grinding. Right, I got a whole list on stuff I need to do.
And then when you go to run away, you get struck too. Awful luck, but it gets worse.
For a
while, everything's all good, but in July of
drop this stone off here.
He got hit by lightning while in his truck, which is supposed to be very, very unusual. He was driving on a mountain road, obviously in the national park, doing his job, and usually when you're driving a car that gets struck by lightning, the metal body of the vehicle kind of like sheds some of the electricity from it. It's called a Faraday cage, it's what it acts like. And so usually that's the best place to get hit by lightning, you know, is like, all right, I'm driving a car. If it strikes, at least the car's going to take a majority of the charges. Well, in this instance, the lightning hit a tree nearby, and his window was open. The lightning reflected off the tree. What are the odds of that happening? And knocked him unconscious while he was driving his truck on a mountain road. Obviously, because it had already reflected, this one like wasn't as powerful as the first one, but it ended up burning off his eyebrows and eyelashes, set some of his hair on fire, and then he was driving. So, you know, thankfully there wasn't an accident, but the truck just ended up slowly rolling to a stop at a cliff. Like, oh, okay, so if it would have been any sooner or later that he would have been knocked unconscious, he would have driven off a cliff. And at this point, you're like, all right, this dude's luck can't get worse. But we have 5 more lightning strikes. There's a 3rd time this dude gets struck by lightning, right? This time it's just in his front yard, no crazy story. It hits a nearby power transformer and jumps from the power transformer to his left shoulder. Shocked him pretty bad, but all in all, you know, not as bad as the other 2. But still, getting struck by lightning 3 times, the odds of that happening should be slim to none. There's very few worlds where you should be like, be careful about getting struck 3 times. But as I said, that's still not enough. That one there's not a lot of details on because it just happened in his front yard. But this next one in 1972, so only 2 years later, he was working in a ranger station inside the Shenandoah National Park.
Okay. So I got all the metal I needed. Now I need obsidian. And a lot of it.
No part, sorry. When he was I was paying for in-flight Wi-Fi for months before I finally caught it. Truebill uncovers hidden subscriptions and notifies you when a charge is upcoming. From there, you decide if you want that service. And if not, cancel it right from the app with one tap.
Again. This time, once again, his hair gets set on fire and he tries to smother the flames with his jackets. It's not really working, so he runs to the bathroom and he tries to put his head under the water tap to put out the fire, but it doesn't fit, so he uses a wet towel. And you know, at this point he is getting used to this, but it's not like it's a pleasant experience anytime you get shocked with thousands of volts of electricity and your hair bursts into flames and you have to be running around the place because nobody's able to put it out. Honestly, this is awful. And at that point, you know, up to this point he thought it was just bad luck. But after the fourth strike, the fourth time he gets struck, this is when he starts to believe that there's some force out there that's just trying to destroy him. He starts to be fearful of death, he starts to think everything's out to get him. And for months after the fourth strike, whenever he's caught in a storm with his truck, he pulls over, lies down, and just waits until it passes. He started to believe that he honestly attracted lightning. So if he stood in a crowd of people, he carried a case of water on him in case his hair was set on fire. He started to think there must have been something in his blood that was attracting all of these lightning strikes to him, which, I mean, definitely not fun to feel like you're the reason all these problems are happening to you. But of course, it does get worse, dude. On August 7th, 1973, he's out on patrol again, and he sees a storm cloud coming, and he drives away. And as he's driving away, this cloud starts to pick up speed, and he says that it seemed like it was following him. So he's trying to outrun the cloud, and it's kind of coming behind him, but finally he decides that he's been running long enough and he can get out of his truck. And so he gets out of his truck, and as soon as he gets out of his truck, he gets struck by a lightning bolt. And this was the one time that he says he actually saw the bolt that hit him. He says he was walking across this opening, and the lightning hit him. It moved down his left arm, his left leg, and knocked off his shoe. And then it crossed over to his right leg.
Hell?
And he was still conscious.
Says 6 people are watching the stream right now.
His body is just so used to being struck by lightning, it's not even passing out. And so as he's struck, he crawls over to his truck because his legs just got shocked, and he has to pour a can of water, which he always has on him, on his head now because it had burst into flames again. At this point, the dude should have considered going bald, honestly, no disrespect, but if every time you get struck by lightning, the hair lights on fire, it's probably time to say goodbye to it. But it's still not done. The next strike, June 5th, 1976, he gets struck, this time in his ankle. He saw a cloud, thought it was following him, and tried to run away, but he was struck anyways, and once again his hair catches on fire. So this dude's just on the ultimate bad luck streak. That's strike number 6. But the 7th one, the last one, the very last one, was in 1977. Lightning ended up hitting him again while he was fishing in a pond. The lightning hit the top of his head, setting his hair on fire, and burned his chest and stomach. And so then, obviously in a crap ton of pain because he got shot, he turned around to go back to his car after putting his hair out of fire. And this is when you're like, oh my god, something has to have cursed this dude. As he's on his way back to the truck after being struck with lightning for the 7th time, there's a bear there, which is after the fish he's catching. So he ends up having to hit the bear with a stick and run to the car. And he said it was the 22nd time in his life he had to hit a bear with a stick. And listen, I know that obviously people that work in a national park are gonna have more interaction with animals, but it's not every day someone gets struck by lightning 7 times in their lifetime, and then on top of that, also have had to fight off a bear 22 times. That's just nature's way of saying it doesn't like you. So obviously that's all the 7 times, and you know, sadly Roy passed away at 71. As for the reasoning behind it, you know, scientists have looked into it. They've wondered if there was any particular reason this guy was so conductive to electricity, and people really have no idea why he had such bad luck, and even the people around him had no clue why it was either. And obviously when all this was going on, a lot of people thought it was a hoax, but the Guinness Book of World Records themselves went out there and investigated everything and confirmed.
Age.
It's City Market.
I'm trying to find that video that I was just watching about that man being struck by lightning, but I don't know if I can find it. We will find out. Bro, I am like not seeing this. I'm looking for everywhere. Whatever.
What's going on, guys? FaZe Rug here, and today I'm going to be telling you guys of the story of the time that I basically had one of the scariest experiences of my life in a dark tunnel. Warning, I did do something not very nice, but it was hilarious, so whatever. It's a good story. We'll roll with it. But before we get into that, if you guys can press the like button, 5,000 likes, please, on this video, and I'll upload tomorrow. You guys know the drillski and the billski. And, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. In 7th grade, I thought I was the bee's knees, alright? I thought I was the coolest kid to ever exist. I was tough. I had a Bieber haircut. I wore skinny jeans. Basically everything you needed to be cool when I was in 7th grade. Oh, jeez, I just realized how lame all that sounds. And every Friday, me and my group of friends would go to this park, and there was this really, really dark tunnel that went about 2 miles and came out on the other side near a Jack in the Box. And the tunnel was known to be haunted, and we were in 7th grade and we're pretty stupid, so of course we believed it, because, you know, when you're in 7th grade, you don't exactly have the best critical thinking skills to ever exist. So whatever, one weekend, we were hanging out at my house. We're like, okay, next Friday we're gonna go and we're gonna go through the haunted tunnel, okay? Because it was like a badge of honor. If you made it through the haunted tunnel and had proof you made it through, you were definitely one of the cooler kids in school. So we were like, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press that like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. You'll be forced to wrestle a grizzly bear. Yeah, that's right. If you don't press the like button in the next 5 seconds, a grizzly bear will appear and you'll have to fight it. And as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, today we're going to be talking about a kid that tried to, you know, make me think that he was the most dangerous hacker to ever exist. And in reality, he was a soft little boy that looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy, but chubbier, alright? I don't really know how you can get chubbier than the Pillsbury Doughboy, but somehow this kid managed to make it happen. Big shout out to you, you know, shout out to Dairy Queen and everybody else that makes this a little bit easier. Real talk though, guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, back in high school, you know, I really did like video games and technology. It's always been one of my favorite things is like YouTube and video games as a whole. I used to be a big fan of all the FaZe guys, you know, like when they were still uploading daily videos of them playing Black Ops 2 way back when on the Xbox 3.
Obsidian. I got enough obsidian. I don't need more. Stone Dino. I'll go grab that real quick.
60, like, I've always been a pretty big nerd, and for the most part, at the time at school, video games weren't exactly cool. Like, this is before the Fortnite revolution, when I feel like it became cool to play PlayStation, you know? Before, it was still kind of nerdy to be a gamer. Like, people were like, oh, you play too many video games, that's weird. So there wasn't exactly a ton...
Hey.
people that shared interests with me, but there was this one group of kids that I knew decently well that all played video games, and you know, we would kind of hang out every now and then at school or outside of school. They weren't like my best friends or anything, but I would be with them relatively often. And one day we're sitting there hanging out, and they start telling me about this kid who's an elite hacker who works for the FBI. And I'm like, hold on, you're telling me there's a hacker that works for the FBI that goes to our school? And they're like, yeah, man, he's like an elite hacker. He actually hacked the Chinese government, and then the government found out about it, but instead of getting mad at him, they offered him a job. And I'm like, all right, bro, this sounds straight out of a movie, okay? How old is this kid? And they tell me that he's 13 years old. And I'm like, okay, this 13-year-old elite hacker single-handedly 1v1 the Chinese government, who can, like, win elections with their hacking. And then the Chinese government found out and was like, no, we shouldn't send him to prison. Let's tell the American government about it so they can hire them, and he can work for the CIA as a super elite hacker, capable of doing anything, from destroying planets to single-handedly causing a Latvian country to explode. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely not a hacker by any means, alright? Like, I'm not out here, you know, single-handedly fighting the Chinese government with my super elite hacker skills, but I definitely know my way around a computer.
I have no idea why
a
lot of people are watching this stream right
now. So
now.
I wouldn't say that I was, like, clueless about computers, but I definitely knew enough where, if a kid was pretending to be an elite hacker, you know, scamming the Chinese government, I would probably be able to tell that it was way above my pay grade, you know? And honestly, at first I didn't even really care. I was like, okay, this probably isn't true, but it doesn't matter, you know? Like, who cares? The kid's pretending to be some hacker. Who really cares? Like, it doesn't bug me, I guess. It doesn't affect my life at all. But as I kept talking to them, they started telling me that they were giving this kid money to try to, like, protect their systems. Basically, they were paying this kid $50 a month each, and he was making sure that they wouldn't get hacked, which is, first of all, super silly because, dog, we were 15-year-olds in suburban Nevada. I highly doubt anybody out there was like, you know, I will single-handedly go out of my way to destroy them. For I am the Chinese government. The wrath of me will be felt for ages. Like, I just feel like that's not really how it works, all right? Like, you don't need a private security, cybersecurity guy when you're just, you know, browsing Twitter as Brandon, the lacrosse player in 9th grade. Like, I just don't think anybody cares enough about that information. So whatever, now that these kids are saying that this kid is, like, basically blackmailing them into paying him because he works for the CIA, which I'm pretty sure goes against the CIA's code. Like, if you're a hacker for the CIA, I bet you, they're like, hey, you can't blackmail your friends into paying for security, okay? Like, imagine you go to the CIA. Yeah, the CIA pays my salary, but I make so much money off telling idiots on the internet that they have to pay me $50 a month. So I decided I've got to meet this guy. I'm like, all right, clearly something is amiss here. Obviously, there's a small amount of, like, a scamsy-whamsy going on. You know, there's something going on here that I'm not really vibing with. And like I said, I'm by no means a cybersecurity expert, but I'm pretty sure I can tell if somebody just has, like, you know, the code rain from the Matrix open in one monitor while furiously typing in, you know, inspect element. Like, it's pretty easy to tell if somebody knows what they're doing or doesn't know what they're doing. Like, come on, you know, if you know how to use a computer, you know what I mean. So these guys we're hanging out with are like, yeah, dude, we're actually gonna go over to his house later. You're more than welcome to come, you know, it's crazy. Like, he has this crazy gaming setup, and I'm like, oh, okay, bet. So we go to this kid's house, and when we get there, you know, his mom's like, oh yeah, he's upstairs, which, I mean, an elite hacker working for the CIA's mom is his security at the door. Like, there's no, like, who are you and what do you want? Like, it's just like, oh, hey, little Jeremy, come on in. You guys want some snickerdoodles? My son's an elite hacker for the U.S. government, and we have absolutely no security. If the Chinese come with an assassination squad, too bad. Looks like my son's just crap out of luck. Like, okay, and I don't really know a ton about CIA hackers. I don't know if they have security, but it just seems weird. Like, it's just one of those things where you're like, huh, is the world's most elite hacker that destroyed the Chinese government with his hacking mode really just gonna be chilling here letting anybody who wants into his house, especially me, a stranger who he doesn't know? Like, I'm sorry, that just doesn't seem like the wisest idea as a professional hacker, man. So we walk into this kid's room, and it's pitch black, smells like stinky socks, and there's just monitors everywhere. That's literally all you can see all over the place is, like, a ton of monitors. And on the monitors is, I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen The Matrix, okay? But there's this scene where in another language, code is falling everywhere. And the kid had basically had that on, like, a loop on all of the monitors. So it looked really high-techy if you had never seen The Matrix, but if you've seen The Matrix and you go, huh, that looks exactly like the scene where they're entering The Matrix,
it's pretty easy to tell that this is Cap. So at this point, I'm like, this kid is not a dangerous elite hacker. He's just not. And sure enough, as soon as we open the door, I see something tab in his monitor, like you tab out of the game. And so I walk over and I introduce myself and I look, and League of Legends is open in the corner, and I'm like, oh, what were you doing before we got here, man? Like, what was up? And he's like, yeah, you know, I was working on a project for the CIA because I'm an elite hacker for the government. Keep in mind, I don't know this kid. I am meeting him for the first time, and the first thing out of his mouth is, hey, yo, bruh, I'm gonna... The U.S. government. I work for the CIA. Call me crazy here. Call me wild, alright? Speculation here. Maybe, if you're a secret agent who works for the CIA, it definitely might not be a good idea to tell every single person you meet that you're a secret hacker for the CIA. I just feel like that's a no-no. Yeah, I'm a secret agent. How secret am I? Well, I mean, I tell everybody, so it's not really a secret. But, like, I'm still a secret agent. Bruh, that's how you go missing. If you are an elite secret hacker, and, call me crazy here, you ready? You tell everyone that you're a secret elite hacker, chances are you're not gonna be a secret elite hacker for long. So I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, dude, you're probably a super secret elite hacker, you know? Oh, that's so crazy. But whatever, man, it is just kind of funny, because this kid was just, like, just a really chubby white kid, apparently working for the CIA government as a hacker and telling everybody not to tell anyone, like, yo, I'm a secret agent, don't tell anyone, but literally told basically everyone he met within 30 seconds that he's an elite hacker. But whatever, it's just kind of funny. Like I said, I'm sitting in this room and I'm like, wow, this guy's such an elite hacker. And then it starts. He starts telling all my friends, you know, I might need to up the rate I'm charging you because the work I'm doing is just so crucial, you know. I'm using government servers to hide your information, and I'm like, bruh. You're using government servers to hide freshmen in high school's information. Like, you're capping. So I asked him straight up, I'm like, isn't it kind of weird to use government servers for something so dumb? Like, couldn't you just make a private server for your friends? Like, why do you have to use government servers to hide freshmen in high school's information? Not to mention, I don't feel like the government would be very happy about that. Like, I don't feel like the CIA would be like, we need to get into the classified files. Zooming through all these classified documents, you know, who killed JFK, are aliens real? And they stumble upon, like, Zach's text to his freshman girlfriend. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't feel like the government would be super cool with you, you know, basically hiding your friend's government information on the server, you know? And he immediately, after me saying, I don't think the government would like you hiding our texts on government servers, goes, are you saying I'm not a hacker? And I'm like, well, I mean, I wasn't, but since you said it, yeah, I guess I kind of am, bro. I don't believe that you work for the CIA. And he goes, what makes you think I don't work for the CIA? Which, I mean, is a really dumb question to ask if somebody calls you on your crap is, well, what do you mean you don't believe in my crap? Because then I just started going, alright, dude, well, let's think about it, right? You're telling me that you're an elite hacker for the government, and your mom just lets strangers into your house, no questions asked, right? That doesn't seem sketchy to you? And he's like, well, no, my mom doesn't know. I'm like, so your mom doesn't know that you work for the CIA? And he's like, no, it's a secret. I'm like, okay, so you don't tell your own mom that you work for the CIA, but I've known you for 5 minutes, and you told me a secret that you haven't told your parents, right? Like, do you just see how this doesn't add up? And he's like, well, I trust you. And I'm like, why do you trust me, dude? I don't know you. For all you know, I could be working for the Chinese government, okay? Like, what do you mean? If you're an elite hacker, you didn't tell your mom, but you tell everybody that walks in. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, not to mention, we walked in, you get tabbed out of League of Legends. It's still open down there in the corner. You weren't hacking anything. You weren't doing anything for the CIA. You were playing League, which is fine. If you're playing League, nobody cares, bro. But the fact that you were just like, oh, I was working on something for the CIA. No, you weren't. And second of all, if you really were hiding our information on government servers, it would cost a lot more than $75 a month, alright? Encrypting information on government servers is definitely worth more than that. So I say all this, and what does he do, ladies and gentlemen? Does he go, wow, I didn't realize that you were going to do a logical conclusion as to why I'm probably lying. I am lying. No, he goes, that's it, I'm the most dangerous hacker on the planet, and I'll prove it to you. I'm gonna hack your Twitter. And I go, okay, do it. And the look on his face is like,
hold up, what? And he goes, you want me to hack your Twitter? And I said, yeah, hack my Twitter, bro. He goes, I'll leak all the information on your Twitter. I'm like, you know what? If you get into my Twitter, you can leak all the information I want, man. Go ahead, hack my Twitter. You're the most dangerous hacker to ever exist, bro. You said it. The most dangerous hacker to ever exist. Go for it, man. Take my Twitter. And my Twitter at the time was just my IRL name. I was like, you have the @ hell, you know, I'll give you the email. I'll give you the email to my Twitter and let's see if you can hack it. And he's like, yeah, okay, no problem. I'm the most dangerous hacker ever. It'll take me like 5 minutes. Are you sure you want to do this? Because like once I hack you, there's no going back. And I'm like, yeah, hack me, bro. Hack me right now. Prove to everybody that you're the elite hacker you say you are. And I know what you guys are thinking. Ryan, come on, was this necessary? And look, I was fine. I was chilling. I wasn't going to say anything. And then Homeboy started trying to swindle my friends out of money for stuff that's just not true. Like, you know what? You want to sit there and play Hacker Man? That's okay. But don't steal my friend's money while you're playing Hacker Man, okay? It's not their responsibility that you're a man-child with an overactive imagination who's living at home with your mom, and your mom is like, yes, my son is an elite CIA hacking agent that I've never heard about, okay? He tells everybody else he meets that he's a CIA agent, but not me. Like, once you start trying to rob my friends of their money, my niceness goes out the window, and I'm gonna call you out for capping, because I know that you're capping. And at that point, he's like, get out of my hacking cave, which is the weirdest thing to call the room where you work, you know? The hacking cave, bro. Come on. Okay, listen, eventually you wanted a girl in your room, right? And there's no way that you were ever gonna have a girl in your room under these circumstances. So, whatever, I'm like, I bet. So I go home and I'm waiting, man, and I'm looking at my Twitter and I'm like, okay, I still have it. And all the people that I went to the house with, they're like, dude, come on, man, he's gonna hack you. He's gonna hack your Twitter, bro. He's gonna hack your Twitter. You see all the code that he...
Do you drive for work? Every 1,000 miles you drive for work is worth up to $545 in reimbursements or tax deductions.
That he had on his monitors, like, bro, this isn't the movies, okay? It's not like, I'm in. And the FBI's like, oh my god, he's in. You know, like, okay, hack my Twitter, bro. If you work for the CIA and have the Chinese government knowing you're a hacker, then hacking my phone should be no problem, right? Like, getting into my Twitter should be cake for you. And so, sure enough, nothing happens. Nothing happens. And so the next day at school, I see him, and all my friends are talking to him, and he walks up to me and he goes, I decided to spare you. And I'm like, you decided to spare me? What do you mean? He's like, yeah, I just know that my skills are too dangerous, you know? Like, I don't want to use my skills for evil. So, since I'm like the most dangerous hacker in the world, I decided not to hack your Twitter and spare you the dignity. And I'm like, oh, you decided to spare me the dignity by not hacking my Twitter because you don't want to use your powers for evil? And he's like, yeah, I'm not evil like that. So I asked him, I'm like, dude, what do you use your powers for? You work for the CIA, but what do you do? He proceeds to tell me that he has stopped multiple nuclear missiles from hitting the United States. This kid that refuses to hack my Twitter is apparently such a good hacker that he's prevented nuclear war on multiple occasions and brags about it while walking around high school, dude. Like, apparently this kid is the only reason that humanity exists. Without him, nuclear missiles would have detonated and all of us would have been destroyed. Like, this kid is the most dangerous hacker of all time, right? So he's telling me this, and I'm like, dog, come on. Like, if you're gonna do the hacked by a CIA story, whatever, okay? But don't pretend that you are single-handedly disarming nuclear missiles mid-air with your computer hacking skills, dude. Come on. So at this point, I don't even know what to say. How do you argue with somebody that is convinced that they are detonating nukes with their hacking skills, bro? Like, I am literally face-to-face with the James Bond of the internet. So I'm like, dude, you are not stopping nuclear missiles. Like, you're just not. And he's like, yes, I am. And you know what? I'm going to have the president write you a letter about how you've disrespected the country's most important hacker. And I'm like, did you just say you're going to have the president write me a letter? And at this point, his face changes, and I can tell that what he just said, he knows he can't do. And I'm like, you're going to have the president send me a letter for saying that you're not a hacker, and everybody around him, like all my friends that were still kind of like, bro, like he is a hacker, dude, watch out, like you're lucky he didn't hack your Twitter account, are like, whoa, you're gonna get a letter from the president to Ryan? And I'm like, yeah, okay, man, sure. I'll tell you what, if the president emails me or writes me a letter, okay, then I promise you, I will get on my hands and knees and kiss your feet because you would be the greatest hacker of all time. All right? So fine, have Barack Obama shoot me an email. This is an Obama.
junk up my nose. Okay, well, you know that you can just type in the comments, like the live comments, and we could talk that way. But you got Arc?
Still in office. Have Barack Obama shoot me an email, bro. I dare you. I dare you to have Obama shoot me an email, bro. And he's like, yeah, I'll make it happen. Don't even worry, dude. I can get Obama to email you. Me and Obama are tight. I'm like, oh yeah, you and Obama are tight? All right, fine. Have him email me. So I go home and I am waiting for my email from one Mr. Barack Obama, right? And I'm like waiting and waiting. And the first day nothing happens. So I go to school the next day. I'm like, hey man, Obama didn't email me. Did you remind him that he needed to email me and tell me about his crazy hacker friend that I've been making fun of? And he's like, yeah, he's just really busy because, you know, he's the president. Ah, yeah, how could I forget? The president of the United States is a little busy. And so, the next night, guys, I get an email on my phone, and it says about the hacker. And it says, basically, it's this, like, email, right? And it's, I'm the president, da-da-da-da-da. This kid worked for me, right? The president emails me, but here's where it's funny, okay? I checked the email address from where this came from, right? Because, you know, elite hacker boy, it should probably be like president@government.com. Like, it should be like an OG, the president of the United States at whitehouse.gov. You know, like a pretty official email, bro. And apparently, guys, Barack Obama was Barack the real president at hotmail.com. Barack Obama, if you're watching this, bro, and that's your email, Barack the real president at hotmail.com. You need to step up your game, man. Hotmail was cool in like 2005. National security should not be reliant upon a hotmail.com email. So obviously, I know this is fake. So I take the screenshot of the email, I send it to everybody, and I go, dog, he does not work for the CIA. This is not the president emailing you, right? And sure enough, the next day we go to school, and all the kids are like, bro, why did you make up, like, Obama was going to email him, dude? Like, we believe you. And he's like, well, you know, I am a hacker, but, like, I can't use my government sources at school. And I'm like, dude, drop the act. You tried to make a fake Barack Obama email address. Like, you're not a hacker. You're just not. And the kid never, ever, ever, ever admitted to faking it. Like, to this day, he still is adamant that he works for the president and the CIA. Even though Barack Obama at hotmail.com emailed me, he swears it's legit. And what makes matters worse is he works at a computer repair store now, which is cool if you like computers. But he tells everybody that it's his cover job because the CIA said it was too weird to have him working there full time. Like, bro, this kid is just not an elite hacker. So that's my interaction with the most dangerous hacker on the internet, alright? Barack Obama at hotmail.com definitely emailed me. It was 100% real, and I'm very scared that the president is mad that I upset the hacker. But on that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Today's notification shout-out goes to Kennedy Boys. Big shout-out to you for being an absolute savage. You want a notification shout-out? Give my notification. Send me a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby. I shout somebody out every time. Don't get anyone pregnant if you do. Make sure they're not the world's most dangerous hacker. And I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.
Spotted or bugs? Not your family. Zevo uses essential oils which attack bugs' biological systems. It gets rid of the bugs, plus is safe for use around people and pets. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
Say it's alright. Say it's alright. It's alright. Have a good time. 'Cause it's alright. Oh, it's alright.
So, I guess when I was a little kid, I would get into fights all the time, alright? Don't get me wrong, like, on the playground, you do what you gotta do. But this is my first real fight. The first time I actually got in a fight with somebody that knew what they were doing. So I was a skater in my youth, you know. I rode the skateboards, did the kick flips, that type of thing. And so most days you could find me at the skate park. And as you guys can tell from the fact that my job is to tell stories and talk crap about people, I have a pretty big mouth. And this was especially true at the skate park because most people there I was friends with, and when you're friends $500 for those. You're kind of a tool. Sorry, Steve. And anyways, as I get there's a new guy wearing dad shoes there, and I don't recognize him, but I make a joke like, oh, nice shoes. And I guess this guy must have been having a really bad day, because he looks at me and goes, what did you just say, bitch? And I'm like, oh, nice shoes, you know, because like they're dad shoes. Haha. Like I'm laughing, right? And he goes, yeah, you want to make fun of my shoes some more, bro? And I was like, no, dude, it was just a joke, like, chill out. And he's like, don't tell me to chill out. And starts coming over and getting in my face. So at this point, I probably should have realized that this guy's having a bad day. He's not in the mood to be messed with, and I should have kept my mouth shut. But me being me, that's not a possibility, alright? Me keeping my mouth shut, never gonna happen. So as he's up in my face screaming at me, keep in mind, he gets up in my face and starts screaming at me about how dare I have the balls to come in here and start criticizing his shoes. I'm like, I was kidding. I did not mean to make this guy so angry, okay? Maybe he's expecting some dog poop or something. Maybe he was just having a bad day. Maybe he doesn't know how to tie his shoes and his mom had to tie him. Maybe that's why he was self-conscious. I'm not really sure. But this guy was really, really offended that I made fun of his shoes. But as soon as those words left my mouth, I feel like all the humanity in his eyes just disappeared. Suddenly, he wasn't even talking, like he wasn't screaming anymore. He just put down his skateboard and was like, alright, we're fighting. And I was like, what? What do you... get back up. Like, I'm not the type of person back up. So I get back up and the kid's like, really? And down. So at this point, punches me again, and I drop to the floor. And at this point, people in the skate park come over, they're breaking us up, and the guy's like, I mean, to be honest, you're annoying and all, but kudos to you for getting back up so much. And I'm probably, I think, you know, I said something, but in reality, I don't know if my tongue was in the back of my throat. I don't know how much brain damage I had sustained at this point, but I doubt anything that I said made any tangible sense whatsoever. So whatever, I decide probably not good to be at the skate park anymore, so I go to ride home. I'm like having trouble balancing. I got obliterated, blitzed in front of all my friends. I got the absolute crap beat out of me. You know, it wasn't exactly the best performance of my boxing debut, but that's okay. Things happen, alright. I'm going to be hopping in the ring with Logan Paul in a few weeks now just to practice. You know, I've gotten way better since then. Me and Master Splinter have been down in the sewer working on our Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles skills. So, be on the lookout, because I'm basically a vigilante now. Well, you guys can tell from the title, we're coming back at it again with more stories about the Vape snake lizard guy. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll put an annotation on screen now, but basically there was this kid I went to middle school with that was actually the weirdest person ever. He wanted to be a lizard breeder, but not by, buying 2 lizards and making them breed, but by actually going out in the wild, catching the lizards and making them breed, because he felt like they had more of a killer instinct, He would grind up bananas and put it in milk and try to sell it in front of school with the name Nana Milk, and was surprised when nobody bought it. And, on top of already being really weird, was vaping continuously and showed me a snake head. So this kid was definitely one of the weirdest people I've ever interacted with in my entire life. And you guys loved the last video so much, I figured I would just tell you guys more of this kid's misadventures, because he was just kind of a meme at our school, and I have quite a few. So I've decided to give this kid a nickname, just to make telling the story easier. So from now on, his name will be Melvin, alright? And Melvin was a weird guy. And along with being an entrepreneur, he didn't have the best of luck with women, okay? Surprisingly, girls aren't fawning at the chance to date a guy who carries around a dead snake head in his backpack. Wild, I know, but if you guys are out there trying to pick up ladies, dead lizards is not the way to do it. In fact, it makes them run away from you. And Melvin really wanted to be a ladies' man, He was lonely, I guess. I guess his hentai pillow really wasn't enough for him. And he was constantly trying to hit on girls. And by hit on girls, I mean, I really don't think he knew how to talk to people. Melvin was notorious for doing 2 things. First things first, he would go to every girl's social media, like literally every single one of their posts, and then comment something weird. Not like, oh, you're cute, or the thing where you like someone's picture and then they like one back and you do that for a few days. Like, straight up just stalking them and commenting on posts that were a year old. Which, I mean, Melvin had balls of steel. I don't know about you, but I would never, ever, ever comment on a post that's like a year old. That's just how you look like a crazy person. And then when the girls wouldn't respond, Melvin would go up to them the next day in person and be like, did you see my comment? And if they said yes, he would ask them for their phone number, but Melvin didn't have a cell phone. No. You see, Melvin would write down your phone number and then call you off his house phone. But when girls would talk to Melvin on his house phone, they would notice that someone was always listening, because Melvin's mom wouldn't let him talk on the phone without supervision. So just imagine trying to put the game on your crush, hey yo baby girl, what you wear, and only to hear Melvin's mother, who named her son Melvin, on the line like, your dinner's ready. So Melvin didn't have what we call game. But the best story with Melvin and girls comes from our 8th grade dance. You see, in 8th grade they were like, oh, you don't bring a date to the 8th grade dance, but everybody basically brought a date, because that's just what you do. So everybody was trying to come up with a good way to ask people to the 8th grade dance, And Melvin, being the lizard entrepreneur he is, decided that the best way to ask a 8th grade girl to the dance would be to, and this is not a joke, take his lizard's shed skin and write dance with it on a poster with glue and use it to ask the girl to the dance. And if that doesn't show you how absolutely clueless Melvin is about girls, then I don't know what will. So Melvin takes his sign with his dead lizard skin and walks up to this girl at lunch and shows it to her, and she just says no, and Melvin proceeds to start crying. Which, not gonna lie, rejection sucks, but I don't know what Melvin expected to happen here, okay? No girl has ever been like, ugh, my knight in shining armor is gonna pull up, whip out the snake skin, and hit me with it like a bad 50 Shades of Grey parody, okay? That's just never gonna happen. And that was just 8th grade. Melvin and I went to high school together as well, and somehow he got weirder in high school. You see, the year was around 2014, so the whole furry tail thing had been out of style for a while, but that didn't stop Melvin, okay? He shows up to freshman year rocking a rainbow tail on the back of his pants. And if you want to express yourself, do whatever, that's fine. I swear I just had a seizure. Express yourself is what I meant to say, that's fine. But Melvin had the need to constantly flex the fact that he had this tail. Bringing it up in conversation, swinging it around, like I swear the guy would shake his butt when he walked, just so this tail would be swinging back and forth the entire time. And it was just a weird experience. So whatever, people start to mess with him with it because it's just funny to see this guy walking around school with a tail on in 2014. And instead of, taking it on the chin or stopping to wail the tail, holy shit, am I having a seizure? I can't talk. So instead of taking it off, he decides to tell his mom. And his mom was one of these really, really Christian people that was like, bullying is Satan. So, of course,
Melvin himself in his rainbow tail get us an entire conference in the gymnasium, a whole presentation on why you shouldn't bully people who wear tails. Like, as if we're not gonna know exactly where this is coming from. Wow, really? In 2014, you're magically gonna give us a seminar on why not to bully people with tails when there's only one kid in the entire school wearing a tail? And Melvin wanted to play dumb. He's like, oh, I don't know why we're here. Yes, you do, Melvin. It was your mom. Playing dumb doesn't make it simpler. You're the reason that we're all here because you wanted to wear your tail and you couldn't take ridicule. Just take off the tail. Take off the tail, Melvin. Is it that difficult? So here we are getting lectured, all right? We're getting lectured, and Melvin has the guts to say, I don't know who this is about, but they're probably really brave. All right, Melvin. All right, buddy. Chill out, Melv. Little old Melvin had to be slick. But other than, wearing rainbow tails in high school, Melvin's luck with girls never got better either. There's not a story for that. I just wanted you guys to know that this guy never got a girlfriend. Until his senior year. You see, ladies and gentlemen, there's a little something called senior-freshman relationships, which are just weird. Something about a grown man, basically, dating a 14-year-old is just a little shady, in my opinion. If you're down for it, and, you actually have good intentions, that's fine, but usually they don't. And Melvin really didn't look like a kid, okay? He never shaved his beard. He was a neck beard. This neck beard was juicy, alright? Imagine Will Ferrell's Jufro? Will Ferrell's? Oh my gosh. Will Ferrell's Jufro, but on a guy's neck. That's what type of neck beard we're working with here, okay? He looks like the type of guy that my lady's so hard with 7 fedoras on. So here Melvin is, dating a freshman at the ripe old age of 18. She's a fresh 14. It's not a good look, and not to mention Melvin looks like a grown man. So a couple months into this relationship, the girl realizes that this is kind of a creepy scenario, and they break up. And Melvin didn't take the breakup well. You see, he came to school every day, just more disheveled than ever, okay? And it wasn't very good to begin with. And climax and him running into the girl's classroom and begging to get back with her during third period English class and causing a soft lockdown because they thought he had become unhinged. Oh, Melvin. I'm not really sure what Melvin's up to these days. He doesn't have an Instagram. He doesn't follow me anywhere that I know of. But Melvin, if you are watching this, man, feel free to comment, because I would love to have you on the channel and just talk about your life, because you seem like it's pretty interesting. So after he caused the soft lockdown his senior year, he did get expelled because, they can't really have a mentally unhinged person running around the school like a maniac like Romeo and Juliet, except, Juliet. No, that's about right, because Romeo was an adult and Juliet was like 13. That story really sucked. I don't know why we learned that. Hey, kids, make sure to kill yourself if you, get in love with somebody who's like 6 years older than you that you've known for 2 days. Secretly get married and then try to fake your death and run away from your rich family. It's not really a good lesson. I don't know why they still teach it to us. Now, I do have a few more stories about Melvin, but I don't know if you guys are interested. This is a pretty long video. It's nearing, the 9-minute mark now, just from the raw recording I have. So I don't really know how this is gonna end up, but yeah, I'm gonna end it with the cake of Melvin stories, alright? You might be thinking, what possibly gets better than dating a girl so much younger than you and then having a freak out and causing a soft lockdown in a school? And let me tell you, folks. You see, Melvin also, before he left, wanted to do a senior prank, and he wanted to go hard, alright? That's what she said. So Melvin decided that the best way to do a senior prank was to do the old classic and try to lead a cow up the stadium bleachers into, the observer box. One problem, we live in Las Vegas, and no one knew where to get a cow, especially somebody like Melvin. See, Melvin was not the sharpest tool in the shed, as you can tell from the story. So, Melvin decided that instead of getting a cow and leading it up there, and the whole prank being that they can't get it down. Instead, Melvin decided that the prank had nothing to do with the inconvenience and more of the fact that there was a giant chunk of meat in the press box. Which makes no sense. That's not a funny prank, Melvin. I'm not really quite sure what you were going for. So Melvin decided to head on over to our local supermarket, which had a deli in it, and buy basically a cow's worth of meat, Now, you might be thinking that must have cost a lot of money, and that's right. I'm not quite sure where he got the money, probably from his days and days of selling lizards, I guess. So Melvin buys basically a whole cow's worth of bloody raw meat and decides to go into the press box and just drop it. One problem. In Las Vegas, it's about 100 degrees until the end of August, and he did this right at the start of our senior year. So imagine, basically a cow's worth of meat just sitting in a press box, in 100-degree weather for about 3 days before anybody noticed. By the time they did notice and opened it, it had smelled so bad that the maggots had infected the meat so much that they had to put in a biological unit to dispose of it. Real good senior prank, Melvin. Getting the school shut down because of biological warfare, basically. What a god, what a stand.
Now, as you guys know, Chick-fil-A is the place of the Lord, okay? There's 3 holy places on the planet. There's a church, there's this YouTube channel, and there's Chick-fil-A. The 3 places where God shows up the most. You know, my channel's where he kicks back and relaxes, kicks off his shoes, and has a good time, obviously. But Chick-fil-A's pretty up there, alright? It's a holy place. You know, you don't do bad things in a Chick-fil-A. But this story is a ne'er-do-well tale of somebody that did something really bad in a Chick-fil-A. Or should I say 2 people that did something really bad in a Chick-fil-A. Whenever I go to get fast food, I never expect to get a WWE boxing match, some John Cena versus Manny Pacquiao-esque type of action. But that's exactly what I got when I was at Chick-fil-A one day when I was in college. You know, the 6 months I was in college. At our college, we had a Chick-fil-A Express. So if you ever wanted to get through Chick-fil-A a little faster, you had Express next to the name. That was really the only difference. Like, it was never actually faster. Basically, there's no tables. You just stand in line and get your food. But I guess these people just weren't the best of friends, and they were standing a little too close together in line, because I'm at the back of the line, and these people in the front start kind of getting a little loud, telling each other, no, you get out of line, no, like, yeah, explicitive words, exploitive, I don't, bad words, they were saying bad words. I swear, sometimes I talk like a dyslexic bunny rabbit. So here they are, swearing in Chick-fil-A Express on campus, alright? And I start to pay a little bit more attention, because I don't know about you, but I'm super nosy, and if someone's fighting, I want to know everything about it, because that's just the type of person I am. So as I'm listening, they start to get a little bit more heated, alright? They're yelling at this point, not very nice things, and they're both like, no, dude, I'm not getting out of here, you need to get out of here, you're the one with the problem, it's not my fault that you're causing all these issues at Chick-fil-A, no one wants to hear this, da-da-da-da. And then one pushes the other one, and ladies and gentlemen, when this push went down, it was like when the American Revolution shot was fired, alright? The shot heard around the world. There was no more games playing, alright? The other guy pushed him back, and it was something out of a middle school fight, you know? I went to a school in Utah, so just imagine 2 really white Mormon dudes throwing fisticuffs. That's exactly what you should be imagining. So these 2 white dudes start pushing each other back and forth, not really fighting, like more just angrily, no, you're gay, no, you're gay, like pushing back and forth. It was pretty lame. But nonetheless, here we are. And so I kind of step out of the line to get a better view of it, because I'm not missing an opportunity to watch a fight. But then things start to get heated. You see, one of them decides pushing's not enough. No. Mormon pushing? That's too easy. He rears back and throws a punch, a right hook, and as it connects, crack! Nothing really happens. It wasn't really that good of a punch. I mean, it hit him, but like, it probably hurt as bad as getting hit with a marshmallow puff, alright? So the other guy's like, oh my gosh, and he swings back, and now they're just swinging. And by swinging, I mean, you ever seen weird emo kids in a mosh pit, like a punk rock concert? Everyone's just kind of flailing their arms around. Like, sometimes somebody gets hit, but it's not really like there's a plan or a strategy. It's just more of flailing like a dead catfish. So at this point, the entire line is paying attention, okay? You don't fight in front of a Chick-fil-A and not get a reaction pulled out of everyone. So everybody's cheering them on. Probably not the best idea. Like, now that I think about it, we were terrible people. We're like, kill him! Rip out his jugular! Whatever. I guess when people fight at Chick-fil-A, that's a pretty standard reaction. So whatever, here we all are cheering on these 2 buffoons fighting each other in front of Chick-fil-A, and the workers start to like try to break it up. Hey, you know, stop it, knock it off. I don't understand why people do that. If there's 2 grown men fighting, and you think that just being like, hey, don't do that is gonna work, you're just delusional. It's never gonna work. They're clearly mad enough to be punching each other in the face. You think they're gonna be like, oh, you're right, man. That is quite unreasonable of us to be punching each other. Maybe we should not do this. They're just gonna keep swinging on each other. So the entire courtroom, or lunchroom, food court, not courtroom. We're not in prison yet. I mean, maybe eventually, you never know. Stuff changes pretty quick around here. So the security comes up, and they're like, all right, guys, break it up, and they're breaking each other up. They have the guys split up, and no one's really, you know, like, knowing what to say at this point. Security has these 2 angry dudes who are just fighting over a Chick-fil-A sandwich separated. And they start going off, and of course their names are Brad and Kyle. Like, you just had to pick the most stereotypical white dude names of all time. Like, whatever, Kyle, dude. Like, I don't even care, bro. Like, whatever, dude. It's not even that big of a deal, dude. You just had to swing on me, dude. Oh my gosh. Something about white dudes fighting is just always going to be the most entertaining thing to me. So, of course, the cops break it up. The security guard cops, I don't know what they were. They had handcuffs, alright, that's what matters. The guys are handcuffed, they're being split up, they're getting taken to the little security room that we had on campus. And of course, you know, the rest of the people in line are kind of like, dang, that was wild. But me? No, the fight was over. Entertainment was over. Now it's back to Chick-fil-A, so I get to the front of the line. I order my 8 nuggets with the side of Chick-fil-A sauce and a Coke. You know how it be. Waffle fries on deck as well. And then I make my fry sauce. I eat that shiz right there, right then, knowing dang good and well that's the most entertaining thing that I'm going to see all day is these 2 grown men fighting over Chick-fil-A, and yeah, I never found out why they were fighting. All I know is that they fought at Chick-fil-A line. And you never fight in a Chick-fil-A. That's just disrespectful, okay? So, yeah, moral of the story, if you're ever in line and people start fighting, remember it, because that way you can tell a story about it later on YouTube on your second channel when you're famous on your main channel for making fun of other people, and then you can entertain people with it. It's a weirdly specific lesson, and normally there's a better moral, but yeah, that's literally the moral, okay? In fact, if somebody does cut you in line in Chick-fil-A, you shouldn't fight them in Chick-fil-A, but meet them in the parking lot with a tire iron and settle business that way. So this story takes place when I was a sophomore in high school. No big deal. It was just the most confusing, weird year of my entire life, okay? It was basically the plot of a romantic comedy. Every single turn, I was constantly getting my heart shattered by some random girl. And this time was no exception, okay? Because this time was the L of the century. I'm talking a rice gum level L. You ever had your girlfriend stolen by the weird emo kid that, like, sniffs glue in the corner and listens to My Chemical Romance so loud that people in the next classroom can hear it? Because that's exactly what happened to me, okay? And I'm still, to this day, upset over how big this L was. I was dating this girl for a while. I would say like 2 or 3 months at this point, and things were going okay. I liked her. I mean, I wasn't like super attached, but you know, it was a relationship, and I obviously cared about her. And in my head, I thought everything was going fine, okay? I'm a nice guy, I'm handsome, you know how it is, raccoon gang for life. And so I figured that there was nothing to be worried about. There was nothing that would really put our relationship on the rocks because we didn't really have any issues. But as the relationship progressed a little bit, she started to get really close with this weird emo kid. And I mean like the type of kid that RAR XDs in the Discord chat, okay? And I've always loved emo-ish music. Like, punk rock is definitely my favorite type of music. I'm not talking just about a kid that's into that music, okay? I'm talking this is the type of kid that sits in the corner and always is like, my life is like a draining swamp. There's no Shrek in it. I don't know what that was, but basically this man is the type of dude to cry over Shrek 3, okay? And that's the worst Shrek. And she starts getting really close with him, but I'm like, no threat there, okay? This dude clearly is a potato. There's no reason why I should be worried about this in my relationship. But then things start to get weird. She starts going to him with problems about our relationship. And fellas, if you're ever in a relationship and she starts to have a guy best friend she complains to about you, that's a sign that you better run, okay? And I mean run faster than Usain Bolt in the Olympics, okay? So anyways, they keep getting closer. She's telling him about all of our problems, and I'm starting to get uncomfortable. I'm starting to think there might be more to this story, okay? So one day we get in a fight, and I basically tell her, like, I don't like emo kid. I think he's weird. I think he's into you, and I don't like the fact that you're constantly telling him about our problems, which I think is pretty fair. And she promises me, oh no, emo kid's just a friend, ha ha ha. And like I said, this dude was weird. He probably ate glue. Actually, no, I did see him eat glue. We were in art class together. He was that weird, okay? He was a glue-eating emo kid that RAR XDs. I didn't think it was gonna be bad. But anyways, after I have this conversation with my girlfriend about how I don't like emo kid, the next day, he walks up to me at lunch and is like, don't you dare try to ruin my friendship. She's the only friend I have left, da-da-da-da. I can't believe you would say that. And I'm like, listen, bro, I don't have anything personal against you. I don't like you, but, like, no beef. I don't want to fight you or anything, but I just don't like how close you are with my girlfriend. Like, that's fine. You guys want to be friends? That's cool. But you constantly hearing about our relationship issues, I'm just not cool with, because I don't know you, right? And he starts, like, growling at me. I mean, growling. The emo kid is growling at me at lunch. You know how weird it is to have this emo kid growling at you because you said you don't like that your girlfriend talks to him about her problems? So here I am getting growled at by a Hot Topic poster, bro. I don't know what's going on. And he's like, I'm gonna make sure that you guys break up. I won't let her date you. Rah, 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 rah. And I'm like, bro, you are so angry. Please stop growling, first of all. Second of all, brush your teeth. Your voice smells. Your voice smells. Your breath smells. That's what I meant to say. It was all just, it was a mess, okay? So this kid's clearly angry. I got an angry emo kid on me now, bro. And I'm kind of nervous because this is the type of weird emo kid that's gonna, like, try to sacrifice my soul to Satan without my permission, okay? And at this point, I'm about to break up with my girlfriend because if she's gonna be with weird emo kid who's gonna threaten and growl at me over lunch, then I just don't want to deal with it. So, anyways, things calm down for a little bit, and that weekend, I get a Snapchat from one of my friends, and he goes, yo, your girlfriend's here holding hands with emo kid, and sends me a Snapchat, and they're, like, walking around the mall, holding hands, being flirty and stuff, and at this point, I'm like, oh my god, weird growling emo kid just stole my girlfriend. This is no meme. This is DEFCON 1 situation. I just got swagger jacked by a kid who drinks highlighter. What is going on? So I call her and I'm like, what are you doing? She's She's like, oh, nothing. I'm like, no.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I
you
know
sure you
what's up.
can.
Because, I know you're cheating on me with emo kid. And she's like, oh, he just understands me. I think we're better. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, you could have just broken up with me. You know, like if you want to date emo kid, that's totally cool, bro. Like whatever.
Right.
I don't care. You do you. I'm not
Here's
pressed
the
about
chords.
the breakup. Like you didn't have to go
Once
around
it
holding hands
loads.
with nothing wrong, okay? And then he takes the phone and is like, bro, don't talk to her. You know that da 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 da. And I'm
It's
like, all right,
like
listen,
55,
emo kid,
25.
first of all, I'm sorry that
And
you
here
like think
is
that I have some
the
massive issues with
server.
you. I don't. I knew there was some suspicious stuff going on. That's why I didn't like you. And you just confirmed all my suspicions, so I was right to not like you all along. And at this point, he's probably growling at me some more, some weird emo XD stuff.
You got a mic?
And I'm like, whatever. I don't really care about the relationship much at this point. If you want to cheat on me with emo kid, you're more than welcome to. Like, I'm done. I'm over this. I broke up with her, and they ended up dating for like 2 months before they
Can
broke
you
up.
add
And
me
emo
then
kid
invite?
wrote a bunch of emo songs about it.
Yeah, sure.
And, yeah.
Go ahead and
moral
at
of the
me,
story
'cause,
is,
you know.
Yes, I got
if
a
your
mic.
girlfriend's ever besties with an emo
You know I'm
kid,
doing stuff,
then
so
she's
can
probably
you
cheating on you.
do that?
And you're gonna get swagger jacked by an angry emo kid. That's the L. That's the biggest L of my life. But surprisingly, that's not the only run-in I had with this particular emo kid in high school. A couple years later, we had another issue. So, you know what? I'll make you guys a deal. If this video gets 5,000 likes, we'll talk about part 2, and in which the angry emo kid and I got into it a little bit. So there was a teacher that I had in high school, and for the purpose of this story, we're gonna call him Mr. Suckamana. Suckamana was a very interesting teacher, and by interesting I mean I hated him. He was definitely one of the biggest jerks I've ever met in my entire life. You can just tell by the way his face looked that he hated his life and everything he had ever done with it. Like, definitely made some terrible decisions. He would tell us that he would have gone pro in soccer if he wouldn't have hurt his knee, but I don't believe that for a second, because Mr. Suckamana seemed like the type of person that no one would want to work with, especially on his professional sports team. But regardless, he was a pretty miserable guy and would spend most days taking out his anger on us, you know? Giving us massive amounts of homework, not letting us have any fun. Like, if you laughed in his classroom, he would actually try to send you to the dean's office, so he was not a nice guy. But this story is a time where Suckamana really made me laugh, you know? He made me giggle like a little schoolgirl. There was this other kid in my class that I liked almost as little as Mr. Suckamana, and his name for this story is going to be Jeremy, because I feel like Jeremy is just a good name to make fun of. And Jeremy, you know,
Are you gonna add me?
Kid that was convinced that school was useless for him because he really knew how to sell weed. And one day he was going to be a CEO because he sold drugs to high school kids. And just was disrespectful to everybody, you know, like acted like he was the coolest kid to ever exist and that nobody would ever have to listen to him. So one day we're sitting in this class, you know, and Mr. Suckamana is going off, and Jeremy starts rattling off about how this is stupid and he's never going to need it, anything like that. And Mr. Suckamana, instead of just doing his usual routine of being like, Jeremy, please shut up. No, I don't know if Mr. Suckamana was having a bad day or what, but he turns around and he goes, Jeremy, listen. I know you think that you have a bright future ahead because you sell drugs or whatever, but listen, man, no one's ever going to hire you. You are actually the most unintelligent student I've had in nearly 25 years of teaching, and if it were up to me, I would expel you now, because it's not like you're going to graduate anyways. So maybe, instead of bashing what I'm teaching you, understand that your life is going to be in shambles, and you're going to wish that you could go back to high school when you were at your peak. And you know when something hurts, and it's like, it's so true, you don't even have a comeback, you know? Like when people say that I'm desperate for views, so I have to clickbait my life. Yeah, you know, like, it hurts so badly that you can just sit there in silence, slack-jawed. That's what Jeremy's face is doing right now. Just the, oh my god, I don't even know what to say. It's alright. Say it's alright. It's alright. Have a good time. 'Cause it's alright. Oh, it's alright. Baby, because it's so true, it hurts face. That's what I'm seeing. And the entire class is just dead silent. And then I start laughing because I'm like, oh, this is good. This is some comedic gold we got going on right here. And Mr. Suckamana goes, why are you laughing, Ryan? And I'm like, I don't know, that was just funny. And he goes, yeah? Well, I don't think it was. I need both of you to go to the dean's office. And I'm like, ah, come on, bro. Like, I just giggled at the fact that Jeremy just got game-ended by you. And you're going to send me to the dean's office? I'm providing moral support for you, Mr. Suckamana. But whatever, I get up, I start going to the dean's office. But Jeremy isn't having it, no. He's trying to come back from this. He's like, I just got roasted. My pride has been challenged. I have to try to flame back. So Jeremy gets up, and instead of just keeping his mouth shut and walking to the dean's office after getting absolutely absolutely obliterated by a 55-year-old man. He decides to fire back and goes, yeah, well, at least I don't hate my job. And Mr. Suckamana ain't having that. No. Mr. Suckamana turns around and goes, Jeremy, you don't have a job. You're unemployed. The only money you get is from selling weed to kids too stupid to understand that you're a terrible salesman. And I guarantee you after high school, none of them will have anything to do with you because they're all going to go and do something with their lives. And Jeremy just got bodied, alright? I swear, 6'9" was somewhere in the club singing, Scum Gang, towards Mr. Suckamana with the absolute fire that was coming out of his mouth, alright? Like 21 Savage became American at Mr. Suckamana roasting this kid that hard. And Jeremy just kind of looks down and goes, whatever, bro, like, you're just a hater. Which is just the weakest comeback, you know? At least have an argument. You could have been like, wow, you know, you lash out at your students because you're dramatically unhappy with your life. Would have been a better comeback than you're a hater. Because when somebody says, oh, you're just a hater, you know they have no comeback. That's just the truth of the matter. So whatever, he sends us both to the dean's office. We get up there. They go, oh, who are you from? We say, Mr. Suckamana. And they usually just send us back to class because it's just, he sends us there so often for stupid things. They're kind of just like hang out here for 20 minutes and then go back and say that we gave you detention because he's just that petty when it comes to reporting people for stuff. So whatever, we're sitting here, you know, and Jeremy kind of like, you know, is trying to act all tough like he ain't upset, but I can tell, man, that one hit deep. His ego was bruised after those words. So, yeah, moral of the story, don't get into a flame war with somebody that has nothing to lose because they won't hold back, and trust me, you're going to look dumb. I don't know what Jeremy's up to these days, probably still trying to sell drugs to high schoolers even though he's like 24 years old. He got held back a few times, you know. So, you know, I've had my fair share of weird experiences. I've lived a pretty interesting life, all things considered. Mainly because, I don't know, I guess weird things like to happen to me. I'm not sure why. I think weird people are just attracted to me in one way or another, and this is one of those times. Basically, a weird weeaboo kid, like, wanted to fight me when I was in college because the girl that he had a crush on had a crush on me. Overall, I rate the experience a 3 out of 10. He kind of smelled like body pillow and pig sweat, but it's whatever. It is what it is, and I figured it'd be an entertaining story for you guys, so without further ado, let's get into it. So my first year of college was pretty uneventful, okay? I absolutely hated it. I hated going to class. I hated doing everything, but I had a lot of good friends, okay? I guess you could say I'm a social butterfly, something about being an outspoken guy who has no filter. I guess it makes people want to be friends? I don't really know. And I was friends with quite a few people. And, you know, being the charming, charismatic, handsome, beautiful raccoon that I am, a few of these friends ended up developing a crush on me. Nothing I can do about it. I can't control these things. You know, I was just living life being in college. I never really had plans to, you know, date anybody, I guess. I was just doing me, you know, doing my thing. But whatever, a few of the girls that I was friends with had a crush on me, and it was no big deal. It was just kind of awkward at times. But I guess to some people, it was a little deeper than that, okay? It was the most dangerous, fantastical threat they've ever had. Me, 6'2", 160 pounds, was the greatest threat to society that they had ever seen, and I needed to be smited off the planet like a bug. So one day I'm hanging out with a few of my friends, one of which has a crush on me, and she tells me that there's this weird dude on her floor that's like super into anime, okay? We're talking body pillow collections, trying to learn Japanese just to, you know, flex the fact that he was super into anime, I guess. Yeah, whatever. If you want to watch anime, that's all you. Like, no hard feelings. Do you, boo-boo. Like, you know, I'm not too pressed about it. Live your life. Do whatever you want to do. But the guy was super into anime and definitely what I would call a weeaboo. He was 100% a weeb. And like I said, it's not a big deal if you're a weeaboo. Like, if that's really what you want to do, do you know? I'm not too pressed about it. The thing that this kid did that really decided to, you know, piss me off was he started to creepily obsess over this girl. I'm talking waiting in the main lobby of the dorm room for when she would come home so we could ask her to hang out. He would knock on her door constantly asking if she could talk to him. He found her number and found her on Twitter and would just DM her and text her constantly. She ended up having to change her phone number so that way the guy would leave her alone. He was just a stage 1 creeper. And when she went to the school about it, they were kind of like, oh, well, he hasn't done anything violent or threatened any violence, so there's not much we could do. Which I think is crazy, bro. If you're getting stalked by a weeaboo, the school should do something, but they didn't. So she comes to me and goes, look, you know, I think he might back off if I say that I have a boyfriend, so can I just tell him that you're my boyfriend, and we'll see if it makes him leave me alone. And my friend was super stressed out about it, and I mean, who wouldn't be, okay? Imagine Otaku over here staring through your window with those anime eyes like, senpai, Yeah, that would freak me out too, okay? I'd be a little bit spooky. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I mean, if you think it might help your problem and the kid will leave you alone if he thinks you have a boyfriend, of course, go for it. Be like, damn, man, we're getting married tomorrow. Like, whatever you have to do to get this kid to leave you alone is fine. Because I don't like my friends being stalked by sweaty body pillow boys, okay? Sweaty body pillow boys. That's a new definition, but I think I'm going to start using it constantly. From now on, anyone that stalks my friends is a sweaty body pillow boy that needs some help. Slightly misguided, a little bit confused, but oh well, we'll use it as a term from now on. So she goes back, and the next day, homeboy's waiting for her in the lobby like a creepy dog with an obsession with someone that's not his owner. She goes, hey, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate the flattery, but I have a boyfriend. And from what I've been told, I wasn't there for the situation. The look in his eyes immediately goes, you know, when like the anime characters are about to go Super Saiyan and it does a close-up of their eyes. It's all bloodshot, and they're like, I have been challenged. My honor has been destroyed. Yeah, something like that, okay? She could tell in his eyes that he was definitely not too happy with the fact that she had a, air quote, boyfriend here, alright? But it is what it is. He goes, oh, okay, I understand, you know, I just thought I was doing the honorable thing by, you know, trying to court you and win you over. And who says that? Who says that in 2018? Yeah, I thought I was doing the honorable thing by waiting for you to get home creepily in the lobby so I could tell you everything about anime and, you know, just talk your ear off. That's not courting, bro. First of all, what is courting? Second of all, stalking someone isn't courting, alright? That's just not what you do when you really want to take them on a date. Not once has a girl ever been like, ugh, I would date you, but you don't wait for me to come home enough and knock on my door constantly and get my phone number from people, alright? You're just really not making enough of an effort. No one ever thinks that, ever. If you're a guy, no girl wants to be stalked. It's not something that goes through their mind on a daily basis. But whatever, I guess this guy's pride was a little hurt, because instead of just taking it like a man and being like, alright, the girl that I like is with somebody else, you know, it's time to back off, he decided that no, he would do everything in his power to find out who her boyfriend was, and, challenge me to a duel for her honor. I'm telling you, dude, this guy thought we were living in an anime, okay? So he starts asking around to everybody he knows, being like, hey, do you know who's dating? And of course, we're not actually dating, so everybody just says no. So he starts just waiting, right? He starts just sitting in the lobby where we would hang out and just waiting for something to happen. So one day we're sitting in the lobby, just hanging out, doing our thing, right? I think we were playing like Cards Against Humanity or something, just doing a normal hangout session, alright? Nothing wild going on. And here comes Mr. Otaku in a karate robe, okay? A karate robe down the stairs into the lobby of the dorm. And as soon as he walks in, the girl goes, oh god. And I look up and I see it, and I crack a smile, right? He walks into the group and he goes, who is, let me make up a name for her, Samantha's boyfriend. Who is Samantha's boyfriend? And we're all smiling, and I don't remember exactly, like, I'm not like, oh yes, that's me, this is my pretend role. We're all giggling, and he goes, who is Samantha's boyfriend? And she goes, he is. And she points at me. And first of all, Samantha, I didn't have to pretend to date you, okay? Snitching me out to the kid in the karate robe is not a cool thing to do, alright? I mean, damn, if that's how it's gonna be, how am I ever supposed to deal drugs with you, alright? You're gonna snitch me out first thing. Cops are gonna walk in immediately. You're gonna be like, it was Ryan. I can't live like that. Way to go, Sam. I thought I had your back, you know? But it's whatever. It's fine. I guess I'll deal with it. I know who you are now. You're a fake friend. So he walks up to me and goes, I'm challenging you to a duel for her honor. And I'm like, alright, G, first of all, I don't know what you mean by duel. Like, are we gonna slap each other with salmon or something? I don't know. And he goes, no, we're gonna fight. And in my head, here's what I'm thinking. Listen. I wouldn't call myself a feminist, alright? I think men and women are equal, but sometimes I think the feminist movement gets a little wild and zany. But one thing I definitely believe is that I don't own women, alright? If you're not gonna fight me for her honor, if a girl wants to be with you, then she wants to be with you. I don't own her honor. I don't own her at all. So for you to assume that just because you beat me in a fight, you magically get to date this girl is like super sexist. So I kind of tell him, look, dude, I don't own the girl. If she wants to be with you, then she would be with you. Like, it's not my problem that you can't get the girl, okay? Like, yeah, fighting me is not going to solve your problems. She still doesn't find you attractive, because if she did, she'd date you. And I guess this really sets him off. He goes, no, we're going to duel for it. I'm like, okay, well, what is a duel, dude? Like, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon, what's the dealio? Like, yo, to get my 3DS? I don't know. And he goes, no, I want to fight you. And I'm like, I'm not going to fight you, bro. First of all, you look like a weirdo in your karate robe. I can smell the body pillow sweat dripping off of you. Second of all, I don't own the girl. There's nothing I can do to force a girl to date you. This is not my fault. And I guess this really sets him off, and he's like, "Argh!" And he goes and he tries to swing at me, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Please do not swing on me with your gross weeaboo hand. By the way, it's not that weeaboos are gross, alright? It's just that, this kid never showered. I don't know, maybe he thought it was boosting his power level, or that, like, his man stink, BO smell would like attract women. I don't know. But it was not a pleasant experience, okay? Smelling this kid was a lot like, I don't know, sniffing farts. It was just not fun. But whatever. Here's this kid swinging on me because I won't fight him for the honor of a girl that I'm not dating, that I don't own. And he thinks he's looking savage, alright? He had the karate robot, and I think in his head, the punches he's throwing are like the most beautifully formed arcs that are gonna nail me in the forehead. When in reality, he's just kind of flailing his arms around like a dead fish. And as you know, I've told stories on the channel before, I can't really fight. But this is the one instance in my life where I knew I could just beat this kid like a pulp. But I don't want to hurt him because clearly I think there's a deeper issue at play here. And I don't really want to touch him either. Like, I don't want to pin this kid to the ground and have to hold him there. Are you kidding me? Then I gotta smell otaku for the next hour? No, thank you. So I decided, I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna hit him once. I'm just gonna hit him once. Maybe he'll back off because this way the solution is, he'll leave. And everyone's here, they're all watching it, so I got witnesses to say that I was not trying to hurt the kid at all. So I went back and I hit him once, and I don't think I punched him really hard, okay? I don't really have muscles, but I don't know what it was, but this kid breaks down into tears and starts crying. He goes, okay, stop, and runs away. And we hear, like, his door to his dorm room slam. And we're like, what is going on, right? But I guess other people in the lobby saw the entire thing, too. And the girl was like, okay, I think I finally have enough on him to report him to the dean's office and get this situation handled. Because now it's not like he's just waiting for me. He's trying to challenge people to a duel for my hand in marriage or something. Like, it's 22 in Japan? I don't know. I really don't know much about Japanese culture. If anything I've said has been offensive, that's my bad. But whatever. So we go to the dean's office, and like everybody who's there says, yeah, he walked up and tried to challenge Ryan here to a fight for this lady's honor, and Ryan just hit him back after he was hitting Ryan, and like he cried and ran to his room. And they put out a protection order. He couldn't talk to her for the rest of the year. They didn't make him move out or anything, which is crazy to me because this dude was clearly not all right. But I guess it is what it is. She stopped getting harassed. I got to punch a weeaboo, and I got this story out of it. Moral of the story, don't try to fight people for a woman's honor in 2018. 2019 or any year. You're just weird. Guys don't own women, and it's not my job to fight for their honor. Second of all, don't fight me, alright? Because one time I punched a weeaboo so hard he cried. Not to flex or anything, but I am kind of a big deal. Definitely out here with the biggest muscles in the game. So I've witnessed my fair share of fights, okay? I went to a public high school. That means most kids are throwing fisticuffs like boxers in the end of the round, alright? Logan Paul, KSI type stuff. And this is the dumbest fight that I've ever seen. These two guys literally tried to kill each other over a chair. No, that's not a joke. They actually beat each other over the fact that they couldn't get chairs in the lunchroom and someone stole the chair from somebody else. It's pretty stupid, but it's a good story, so I figured I'd tell you guys. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and get ready to listen to a fantastic story. So I set a lunch table for most of high school where me and my homeboys would, you know, grab our chairs, fly over to the table, and have a good time, goof off, do some water bottle flips, all the cool stuff kids do these days, you know. Water bottle flipping is a professional sport in 7 countries. And we had this one friend named Patrick who was huge, okay? I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm like 6'2", 6'3", I'm not really sure. And this guy would tower over me, alright? He probably weighed about 250 pounds of pure muscle and was at least 6'6". This guy was a giant, okay? And he would always come to lunch a little bit late. But he'd always have no problem holding a chair or grabbing a chair because who's gonna argue with the guy that could literally punch a skyscraper and it starts to lean, bro? Leaning Tower of Pisa happened because Patrick leaned on it, alright? So generally, nobody would mess with him because he was huge, and he was probably the biggest kid in the school, so it's just like a mutual respect thing. But one day, there's a new kid, and he claims to be, you know, a gangster, alright? Oh, I grew up in the hood, man. Alright, well, listen here, Abercrombie and bitch. No way you grew up in the hood. You're not hard, you're not cool, like, no one's impressed by you. But he really wanted everybody to think that he was the toughest guy in the school. So one day, he gets to lunch with Patrick and takes a chair, the last chair, and then just walks across to the cafeteria with his backpack and then puts his feet on it and has 2 chairs. And so we're all like, oh my god, he's trying to fight Patrick, the biggest kid in the school, and he's like trying to start it over a chair. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So Patrick gets to lunch and goes, hey, is there any chairs? And so we point and we're like, well, that's the only one left, and he's using it as a footrest. And Patrick was a gentle giant. He would never like fight anything, but you know, if you pissed him off good enough, he would definitely get a little angry. So he goes over there to the new guy and he says, hey man, like I see you're using the chair as a footrest. Can I please have the chair? Like clearly it's a footrest for you. That's not really cool. Can I have it? And the kid just goes, nah man, F you. Oh, I almost said it. Susan, listen, it was a joke. Please don't demonetize me. So Patrick just goes, all right, dude, like, listen, I tried to be nice, and he just takes the chair, flicks the kid backpack off, and then just brings it back to our table.
So we think problem solved. The kid's not going to instigate it any further because that'd be a terrible idea because once again, this is a giant. So Patrick sits down and starts eating his pizza, and all of a sudden, the kid who he took the chair from runs up and hits him in the back of the head with the binder and starts punching him in the back of the head, saying that he's disrespectful and how dare he take his chair and da-da-da-da-da. And our entire table is like, what is going on? And before any of us can get up and go help Patrick, Patrick has stood up, looming over this kid who's probably a solid 5'6", I don't know, a quarter of his weight. So before we can react, our friend Patrick has this kid in a headlock on the floor and is like, knock it off. And this kid is just like, swinging at him. It's not hurting Patrick at all because once again, this kid's in a headlock. There's not much momentum behind anything he's doing. He's spinning in the air, hoping it lands on Patrick, saying that he's going to kill him. All over a chair, by the way. So the deans come over, and as soon as, like, the adults are there, Patrick lets go of the kid. He gets up and starts trying to throw chairs at Patrick, spinning at him, all this stuff. And Patrick's just laughing, which is making the kid more mad, because I guess when you're in a murderous rage, people laughing at you is not the reaction you want. And everyone's laughing at him because he just got headlocked in 13 seconds flat, read like a little banshee, and then just got dropped. So whatever, you know, they get him out of there, toothbrush angry kid who's like, I'm gonna kill you! And Patrick, instead of, you know, getting angry or like going to the dean, just sits back down and keeps eating his pizza like the absolute savage he is. So for the rest of the school year and the rest of our high school experience, the kid that tried to, you know, murder someone over a chair was made fun of relentlessly because saying, I'm gonna kill you and spitting in somebody's face over a lunchroom chair definitely doesn't make you look cool like you're from the hood, which I think was his intention. It makes you look like an insecure little girl, which is not a good look, not a good look. And Patrick became a legend for just putting someone in a headlock that was trying to murder him and then going back to eating his pizza like nothing happened. Even the deans and, like, our principal staff were laughing at the fact that he was so calm after it all went down. He wasn't mad. He didn't have to be restrained. He was just like, okay, I guess the guy that wants to kill me is gone now. Do-do-do, back to my pizza. Patrick really was a cool guy. I don't know what he's up to now. I think he joined the military or something. But whatever he's doing, he's a really good dude, and I hope everything's going great for him. So when my brother turned 12, he had a huge birthday party and invited all these kids over to the house. And, you know, whenever kids that are like 12 years old come over in a big group of people, they're all really, really stupid. They do a lot of dumb things. And I was just kind of hanging out with them because my mom asked me to. Just keeping an eye on them, making sure they weren't burning the house down. And there was one girl in particular that he had invited to his birthday party that was acting way too mature for her age, you know? Like, when a 12-year-old acts like they have a 401k and a whole-ass retirement fund, it's just a little weird. You don't actually have the ability to, you know, retire. You're not an adult. You're literally a 12-year-old. Chillax, okay? Like, listen, you know, if you're 12 years old and you want to act a little bit mature, that's fine. But this was a 12-year-old who was sitting there talking about how she was so excited to go to college and how she was so ready to be an adult. And I'm like, yep. You have 6 more years, okay? We don't even know if you're gonna get into college yet. Old and you want to have a 401k, keeping an eye on them to the house. Everything's going great for him.